Welcome to the Visual Cast, coming at you from California. I'm your host, Alon Hammer, aka Rem. The Visual Cast is a hybrid podcast where we sit down with some of the best, most interesting, and most exciting visual artists from all over the world. We chat about life, art, visuals, software, hardware, systems, crystals, alien downloads, spirituality, and catalysts. It's essentially a massive nerd out. But the guests also do a set where we dive into their computer and get an up-and-close look at how they make art, how they perform art, or really anything they want to share with us. Episode 28 is upon us, and we have the amazing and powerful Paos Olea, a super talented and big-brain developer, tech and visual artist, and VJ. Pao has worked on some amazing projects, including massive interactive installations at major museums across her home country in Chile and in many other cities across the globe, blasting visuals for Richie Hawtin's exclusive project Prada Extends Miami, and is currently the creative director of a record label called Our Silent Canvas. Her irreverent visual style echoes what we love on this podcast, the experimentation and exploration of generative and real-time art whilst maintaining unique and authentic expression. She is also a major figure in the TouchDesighner world as a dual-language educator, offering her expertise in tech and visual art on her Patreon in Spanish and English, which I think is just amazing. For Pao's set, she graciously shows us her unique VJ setup, takes us into some of her exclusive Patreon tutorials, and even pokes around some older projects off of her Instagram. It's chock full of tidbits of information and absolute gold. It was super awesome talking and chatting with Pao. She has so much to impart, and hearing her experience and stories was inspiring to say the least. Please like and subscribe, click the little bell icon to get reminded of upcoming episodes, follow us on social medias, and without any further ado, here's the Visual Cast.
The world is like a ride at an amusement park, and it's fun for a while. Some people have been on the ride for a long time, and they begin to question, is this real, or is this just a ride? And other people have remembered, and they come back to us, and they say, hey, don't worry, don't be afraid, ever, because this is just a ride.
Today by a really special guest. She's a really super duper artist, really high level developer, super talented and skilled, interactive, immersive visual artist. And I'm really excited to have her on. Welcome to the podcast, Paos Olea.
Hey,
Greetings.
how you doing?
I'm good. I'm really happy we got to do this. We definitely need a shout out Daniel Molnar, Function Store, for introducing us. Love him so much, and I'm happy that he made the connection.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. So yeah, thank you.
Hell yeah. All right, so I like to start off with like a more scripted question, and then we'll get into a little bit more of a conversation.
Okay.
So Pao, when our mutual friend Daniel Molnar mentioned to me that I should have you on the podcast, I took one look at your Instagram and was instantly impressed and in awe. Your ability to translate movement into visuals with simplicity and aesthetic pleasure is stupendous. You have performed on some massive shows around the world, have created world-class interactive experiences, participated in lectures and workshops from UTech and Derivative, among many others. You have a super-duper Patreon with awesome tutorials, and are now the director of visual media and arts for a pretty impressive music label, Our Silent Canvas. So, to start us off, what is it like working on large-scale projects to then have them be interacted with or viewed by the general public?
Ooh, good question. A nice introduction. Thank you.
Of course.
But I think for me, for create interactive things, it's a mix of a lot of things. And I think first for me, the most important is how the people connect with that, how interact and what they feel. And I remember long years ago when I started working, creating things, for me was I need to go to the place and see what the people do and try to understand. Because sometimes when you create something, because I'm a graphic designer, and when you design something, it's like, okay, the people is going to do a specific thing, and the reality is not. They're going to do something completely different. So for me at the beginning, it was hard to understand that, because it's like, I'm a great designer. I want to, I don't know, they do something different. But for the years, and I think one of the best and most important experience for me was work in a museum in Chile. I think it's the biggest museum for the universe. Like the theme is the universe in Latin America. They call like meme. They call this like museum interactive.
It's like
Um,
a science museum almost, or
yes, science. And I remember was the inauguration, everything, and I was in the second floor, and I saw one of the kids playing with the interactive thing, and he was a simple thing. You can see the sun in different state, and you have a switch, and you can change the view. And I remember the kids like moving like to the left and to the right. And I don't know, he was too express, but he was too, with a simple thing, he was happy because he understood that he moved very fast. The image changed at the same time. So he moved very slow, move again slow. So I understand, I think just when you create something, just be relaxed, and I can come there and maybe destroy your project, but maybe you can see in a different way your interaction and many things. And obviously kids is more like relaxed and they press everything. When you are an adult, it's different. It's like more okay, and this
right?
it's like they think what they're going to do, but the kid is like, relax. So yeah, I create a lot of things for museum here in Chile for kids. So it's cool to just, for me, it's like the real test is this. I remember the director of that museum said to me, can I test this as a kid from Chile? He said that. And I say yes. And she pressed everything and move everything. So it was cool
That's
too.
great.
It's like, oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, kids
But
are
at the
probably the
same time,
best. No, sorry.
yeah,
Continue.
no, it's okay. But I think that is cool, but sometimes it's stress when you try to figure it out, when it's a big project and maybe something bad happened. And I remember, I need to tell this story. It's about the same museum. And I remember at the beginning, when you create an interactive thing, you think it's like it's in your mind that you want to create something. And I remember the museum or the client said, okay, what we want is the people, I don't know, put a code, a paper in the hand, and we can see with augmented reality the star. So it's like we can see the people have a star in her hands. Okay, cool. But the problem for us, or for me, I didn't know, this is my mistake, but I learned a lot. It's like I create the project, I use Unity in that time, I use many things. And then they have this process, it's like the pre-installation. It's like we need to test this
Right.
interactive thing
So they open
before
it up.
to continue release. Okay, perfect. And I remember we have 3 days to install, and I was installing thing, whatever, and then when I export the same day for the installation, I export, I couldn't see anything in the camera. The camera was black. And the moment was, I am starting like, what is happening? Because it's working in Unity. What happened when I export this? And I made a mistake. I think one of that was the biggest mistake that I made was I using it's like a specific plugin that works only in Android. Because augmented
Oh
reality in that
no.
time, you need to think it's like
ARKit
2017, yeah, was
versus
used for
Android
Android and
stuff.
not PC. It's like, and when I realized that, I remember was, I'm going to die. They pay us money, and we need to, what we can do. And I remember tell to my friend, my
Colleague.
uh, colleague, and he said, "Oh my God!" And I remember we are eating that day. It's like dying inside,
Yeah.
and the client said, "How you doing?" Fine.
Oh, great. Everything's square.
I remember that moment, but I
Oh,
remember
no.
it was like, okay, I need to fix this, and I think I'm good in this. It's like research, and I try to figure it out. A lot of forums, answer, and I remember I always going to remember this name, Max from Russia. He hacked, sorry if he hacked the plugin and release for Windows. So
Oh,
I
my God.
contacted. The thing is, I need to pay. I don't know how much, but in PayPal, and we
Doesn't
said,
at that
okay, we
point, who
pay.
cares? You pay
Who
whatever.
cares?
Like, yeah.
We pay. And I remember the message is like, okay, Max received the money. We hope you was like, we hope that he answered. And it was, oh, we need to wait, I don't know, maybe a few hours, 2 days, 3 days. And I remember, I think he took maybe 1 hour, and Max, I received an
Sent
email
it.
from Max. It's like, oh, I received a payment for this. Okay, here is the code.
Wow.
I was happy. I checked. I went to my home. I did all the tests, but it didn't work too well, but it's okay. And then the next day we installed it, and was. So
Wow.
sometimes I learned that first is like process.
Hmm.
You need to test before
Test.
stuff.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah. Yeah.
only
Yeah.
in the software, you need to export that and
Yeah.
see all the process. What happened if you, I don't know, everything you install in the
Yeah.
window, what with the window, all
iPhone. Yeah.
that process. But
It's such a
yeah, that moment
good.
was,
It's such a good lesson. I mean, like you'll never
yeah,
make that mistake again.
no,
And at least it has a good ending to the story. Excuse me, that you managed to find a hack for it. Thank God to Max. Praise Max. Your first son should be called Max, maybe. Uh, and this is a great story. I love it. I think that that's like something that anybody who deals with large scale interactive installations has had a situation like that where works. You get on site and then you missed, like, they have a different camera, they have a different hardware, they have
yeah,
maybe, the cable's not long enough, or, it's the wrong cable, there's always like these things that you don't, when you're at home, you're working on making it work. And you don't think
yeah,
about, okay, well, it's going to be deployed in a completely different environment, in a completely different place. I had on the podcast Eric Mincer, and he's like he also does interactive installations, and he said that one thing that they do in their company, whenever they finish an interactive installation, before they go to location, before they deploy, they do a party in their studio and invite all their friends to play with the interactive piece to then see, okay, what breaks it, what doesn't work, what did we not think about. They install it once, I thought that's such a great idea.
yeah.
Besides for also seeing what is wrong with the hardware, you get to see, okay, how are people interacting with it before before the opening day. So that's great. I want to definitely talk a little bit more about Brillo Collective, which is a collective that Pao was part of, that they did lots of really cool installations. I think it's really, really interesting. But before we get there, I'd love to, you grew up in Chile, and I'd love to hear a little bit about that. I don't know much about it. Please tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in Chile, and maybe any like early inspirations that you had to be an artist, from family, from school, something that kind of like, you can kind of relate to, that's like, okay, this was like a really important part growing up in Chile that made me want to become an artist, to become this developer kind of, visual kind of creator.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Chile. I'm from Santiago, specifically, the capital. We are in the middle. Chile is a long country. If you go to the north, you have the always confuse this word, the desert or desert. That thing,
Desert.
Desert, thank you. In the middle, you have the capital. And so the top is orange, and the middle is like orange and green, and you go to the south is green.
Nice.
So yes, I always confuse that word. Another thing in English, but yeah. So that is the cool from Chile. It's like you can go to the north, beautiful, like plain and orange thing, and to the south is green. It's like I think it's very similar to Sweden. It's like green. When you
Really?
go more to the south, it's
Forest?
like
It's not like Amazon like vibes, not jungle. It's
no,
more
not
forest.
we don't have jungle. Yeah, we don't have that.
Interesting.
So yeah, and in the south we have the snow. So it's cold. It's
Oh
like
wow.
hot, normal, cold,
Do you have
white.
Andes? You have the Andes? Do they go into Chile or
Yeah, we
they
have
do?
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have the mountain, the Andes, and we have a lot of volcans. They are active, but it's
Volcanoes.
okay. No, volcanoes, yeah, that
Oh,
thing,
cool.
yeah. But it's okay, yeah. The view is cool. I
It's
think
okay.
one of the things that I love in Chile is like you can see the mountain, beautiful. Everything is great in the south. Santiago depends, but yeah. So I grow up there. I went to a lot of schools. Always when I say this, it's like to a school, it's like 9 or 8 school, different school.
Whoa.
Why? Because it's like my father moved for
Okay.
work and we need to move. And then my mind's like, I like this school, then I don't like it. We need to find another. So for me, it's like to say to the people, it's like, hello, bye, all the time. So I think that is one. I don't have friends from the school. It's like because it's like hello and bye. And for the after when I started working, I think I did the same because every year I ask myself, "This is a good job? Yes or no? Yeah, maybe not. What I'm learning, okay. If I don't like it, I quit and jump to another job. So I've been working a lot in many places. Um, but yeah, for me, when I was young, I always was good to building stuff. I love Lego stuff. And I want to be an architecture. That it was my dream. But we don't have the money, so it's like dream by. And I remember a teacher said to me, "Do you know what is, I don't know, this career, this thing about graphic design?" For me, it's like, what is that? Um, and you need to know this. I'm in my high school. I went to like I don't know how to express, but I like a technical school where I learned about to be an accountant.
Oh
So it's like
wow.
a lot, yeah,
That's wait.
different
You went in
things.
high school. In high school, you learned about to become a accountant.
Yeah, it's like
That's so
it's like
interesting.
you don't have the like degree like professional. Like
Right.
you
It
have
gets you
like a
ready
technical.
for
Yeah,
university.
yeah.
Uh huh. Wow.
So yeah,
That's
that is what for me
who's
numbers and
teaching high
everything.
school students accounting? That sounds terrible.
Yeah, but for me, I like it a lot because it was about
Okay.
numbers. It's like
Okay.
numbers, and I was very good.
Okay.
I didn't know this, but one of the teacher asked talked to my parent and said she's very good in this. She need to be follow
An
this
accountant.
path, and I said nope. And because when I figured it out that I need to work in an office dressed with the specific rules, it's like
Yeah.
no. And I remember I said, I don't know, maybe I can take 1 year freeze, like do whatever I want. And my parents said, nope. And they found like it's not a university, it's like a not a low level of that. It's like be a technical for animation, code. They know that I love movies, so it's like they don't know anything. It's like I think that is something connected to movies and animations, things like that. So I went to this like technical, I don't know, university or school. Was for I studied for 2 years, and I learned a lot of I think design. And for me, it's like okay, I think I got it. But I learned about animation and I learned Flash. I think that is like
Oh,
what is
nice.
this? I'm the generation from Macromedia, no
Yeah.
Adobe,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Macromedia
Yeah.
Flash 5, that
Wow.
old school. And for me was, okay, what is this? And I think with to code, like I remember go to play, something like that. It's like, oh, I can do many things. And I learned lingo, I think was for, I don't remember, director, Macromedia director. And I learned lingo, that is the code. And that is like, I understand a lot of things. For
This is in
me, I think,
university.
yeah, I think that for me was the path to, I need to understand more. But at the same time, I think I love everything because it's visual, color, and everything. It's because my mom is a photographer. And
Oh.
for we talk about everything about photos. I don't know,
Oh.
and the lunch and the dinner is like, okay, this picture and a lot of things. So
What kind of
cameras are
photographer was she? Like doing commercial work or more artistic or?
no more artistic. It's
Oh,
like she
cool.
loved to, I don't know how to say, but close up stuff. It's
Yeah,
like the
like
flowers,
portraits. Oh no, oh, like
details.
macro,
Yeah,
macro.
macro. Yeah, like
Oh wow,
beautiful
that's super
things.
cool.
Yeah, and she taught me everything when I was 13 years old,
Right.
so was
And
very
that's like the
young to
most
understand
important.
everything.
It's like
Yeah,
composition, the rules of thirds, color, light.
yeah,
It's amazing.
yeah. So I think that was for me part of me, and yeah, at the university, it's like everything is like starting connected.
Mm,
And when I started to work, my first job, I think was 20
mm.
years old or 19, something like that. I went to a agency about publicity, but they create books. It's like boring. No, it's
Publisher.
boring, but it's like different kind of design. And I went to many printer stuff, so it's like I learned a lot of that. And
Mm,
they said me, Paola, you're very good in this. You need to go to the university and continue study.
mm.
But again, it's like money is it's a theme. So I decided I contact the bank and I asked, can you borrow the money? I need to pay the university. And I went to the university for taking me 5 years. The career is 5 years. It's a long time. But the cool thing is like at the same time I was working. So I worked between, I don't know, was to 9 to 5 or 6. Then I went to study at night for 5 years. And for
Wow.
me, I think I finished with, I don't know, 20 something, and I was tired. At the beginning, it's okay because you're young and everything.
Excited.
But then
Yeah.
it's like, I need to finish this. I don't,
So wait,
yeah.
Pau,
But
is school not free in Chile? They don't have social like programs like that where it's school
the
is free?
university now, you need to pay. But
Really?
you can, yeah, but you can ask to
Like
the government
grants,
to
government
like,
grants and
yeah,
things like that?
but you need to pay. The problem in Chile is like the education is everything is about pay. That is
Mm,
the
it's so
reason why
weird.
I have the Patreon and YouTube, but I can continue with that. But yeah, you need to pay. And the cool thing then, when I was working and everything, and I have the enough money and salary for pay the university, I said to the bank, stop, I can pay and do everything. But the cool thing when I finished the university, I have paid everything, so I don't need
Oh,
to
you weren't
continue
in debt.
paying. So
That's great.
yeah,
That's great.
yeah, so
That's so
cool.
interesting. Is there social medicine there, like free medicine, free healthcare?
Now we have the public and we have the private, but the
So there, but
public
there is a public.
is,
It's not very good.
yeah. The thing is good. The problem is when you have access to that. It's like you can wait for an operation
Right.
10
Right.
years or
But
20 years or
at
maybe
least it
never.
exists. At least you have it.
Yeah, at least it's, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like in the States. I mean, I'm from Israel. Like we had social medicine as well. And when you come to America, it's like you're like, oh, there's no free version of this. Like it's
Oh,
either
yeah,
it's
yeah. Today
crazy.
I'm being, yeah,
Well, you have a job, so you'll get healthcare from your job, but it's like,
yeah,
it's crazy. Like people, hopefully, you should. I think it's required by law, but it's wild. I mean, yeah, I always find that interesting because, it's like very unique to America that there's no like social medicine, and most places in the world have some sort of public access to medicine. I don't know. It's a very, very strange thing here. Super
yeah.
interesting. So this kind of continuation school, like the second school that you did, the 5 years, was it like interactive design? Like what were you studying there?
No, I think it was all school design, graphic
Mm.
design, but I think it was the best option. And why? And I remember this because I talked with a lot of different friends, and I
Mm-hmm.
went to in Chile we have like public university that they are the best, and
Okay.
we have private university that they said it's not the best. But I think depend of what you're going
What
to
you're
study,
studying, right?
and a public. So the cool thing, the teachers, they are very good.
Mm.
So it's like they don't
The
taught
lecturers.
us or taught me anything about software. It's like software, we don't care. Photoshop, you can watch a tutorial on YouTube. It's like we
Right.
don't care. The important is the concept. The concept. So it's like you need to
I love that.
think
Theory.
about the concept. Yeah. And then it's like this is will be a website or I don't know, a book, whatever. The important is the concept. So I'm happy. I'm very but yeah, I'm very happy for all that taught me because I can understand now that, yeah, it's important that the software is okay. You can learn it later, but it's important, the process, and then you going, whatever happen, it's going to be okay at the
Right.
end.
Right.
So the cool thing at that moments, I started working and I try to apply my knowledge. And with the work, I've been learning new stuff. So it's like a circle of learning and process and applying
It's
stuff.
awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think that it's like almost like an art school where you're kind of learning how to think, you know, you're learning
Yeah.
about, you know, how to process your thoughts into a product or into a design or into, you know, a piece of art or something like that. I think that that's like really, that's something that is very hard to learn. You can learn it over time through experience, but I think that that's like where university or school becomes really powerful is when you learn those kind of things, like you said, like the concept of how to make something, or you know the technicalities of kind of making stuff, the techniques, as it were.
Yeah.
Because like you said, like learning a software, you can go and study that in school, but you know that's just like learning a software is literally just sitting down and spending time with it. There's no, maybe if you have like a really good lecturer, they can teach you like tips and tricks. But nowadays with YouTube and Patreon, it's like the best teachers are offering their things for free anyways, or for paying, whatever. Super cool. So, so you went to school and then you kind of got into this, you started working within your industry. Did you, you know, when did you start getting into processing and, you know, more interactive kind of design? What was the catalyst? Do you know this word, catalyst?
No.
Catalyst. I love this word. I use it all the time. But it means like what was the spark, or what was the moment,
Okay.
or you know, thing that led you to start getting into interactive.
Good. Yeah. Good. I think just it wasn't just one moment. I think it was a few.
Cool.
And I remember it was 23. I quit to my first job and I went to another one. And I remember I started working as a front end. Yes. Then I jumped to website. But, and I remember my friend, my coworker to the left, he just created a weird thing with Flash. And I asked him, it's like, hi, can I pay you and you can teach me about code? Because he knowed about ActionScript. And he said, yeah. And I remember went every Saturday at his home to just learn code. And I think that was the beginning it's like the code opened new things.
Right. Open the door.
Yeah, it's like, okay, wow, I can turn, rotate, I can move position just with code. It's like I can be a director and do stuff.
Interesting.
And and then after that, years later, obviously the process for learn to try to understand. I remember learn about argument reality, because it was the first thing working in Flash. It's like, what is this? Too complex for me. But I remember I started like just creating like a specific interactive thing with I don't remember. I think the name is Macromedia was Adobe Air when it's like Flash is starting die.
Yeah.
They created that platform because it's more
It's for like online.
Windows.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah.
it was like, yeah.
So it was cool, and then I jumped to that, and I tried to. I did a lot of project with that. I started connected the Kinect and tried to figure it out.
In
how
Adobe
this
Air?
worked.
In Adobe Air, you did that?
No, I think it was Adobe. I don't remember that version for it was Flash.
In
but
Flash,
they
you're
called
connecting
like
the Connect. That's so cool.
Yeah, But I remember that name of that specific thing.
I know what
But
you're talking
I
about. It was like
remember,
it was very short lived. It was like when Flash was dying
yeah,
and they tried
and
doing
then
something
died.
else. Yeah, it died. Completely
Yeah,
died. Yeah, I also
yeah,
it's on the tip of my tongue as well. Like Air was like their HTTP like protocol like to design within inside of Adobe and then get like a website. But there was something that was a Flash thing that was really specific.
yeah.
That was
No,
whatever. It doesn't
yeah, I
matter.
don't remember. But yeah,
You
it
started
was
playing with
something
this.
about Flash. Sorry?
You started playing with that and getting more into the
Yeah,
interactive side.
yeah. And I think with that, with exploration, at the same time it was okay. I can do this. But I remember then I again I quit too many jobs. It's like okay, I learn and quit, learn and quit. I was I think 26 years old, and I went to a job and I met Luis Guajardo. And I remember because they need someone who knows Flash because they connect the games with Facebook and everything that old stuff. And I remember he talked to me. It's like, okay, you need to do that. And for me, it was blah, 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 blah. What's he talking about? It's like, okay. And I remember it's like writing, but everything he said. And I went to the background and checked my phone. It's like,
Searched
what?
it.
Okay, this technique, because he's very, very good.
Specific.
And right now he's working in Media Monks, a big company
Yeah, medium
in
monks.
Netherlands. So it's like he's very good. But I remember at the first time, it's like he's talking in another language that I don't know. Right now, I got it, but at that moment, it's like, no. But I learned a lot from him. And I remember it's like, I think in that moment, I learned that it's important to know the way that you learn. This is why, because I remember that we need to fix something. It's like we stuck with something. And he said me, don't worry, tomorrow I'm going to have the answer. Next day he returned and I said, I found the problem, we need to fix this. And I asked, how you find that? And he said, okay, I read a book, and in the book, okay, I found the answer. And for me it's like, okay, obviously I try to do the same, but I discovered for me the book is not my way. My way is different. I need to see. I need to see things. Maybe it's because I'm a graphic designer. For me, everything is visual.
Visual.
It's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
Information.
I have books, but it's like no, it's not my stuff. So I think it's important to understand or learn the way how you learn new things. So I think for me that was important, understand
really
a new
powerful.
thing. Yeah, and the cool thing in that time, I learned a lot of Arduino, physical computing,
Cool.
and
Cool, cool,
starting connecting stuff. Protocol of communication is like OSC, it's like MIDI, it's like, okay, I can connect the physical world to
You're
this
going,
digital
you're
thing.
going outside of of Flash and like the 2D, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, physical, oh, protocols, oh,
Yeah,
I
I
love it.
remember we have a client, we have Coca-Cola there in Chile, and they send us the vending machine with full of Coca-Cola bottles. And he bought like I don't know, a device where the device is
Oh,
like
the brainwave stuff.
like the concentration thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
we
yeah,
did
yeah.
stuff like we hack the vending machine, so it's like you need to concentrate in that Coca-Cola and then
And it comes
give you
down.
the Coke. And the cool thing, we record everything that we create or experiment, because at the same time, I learn it's important, like record the
Document,
process, because it's
document.
like, it's just, yeah, because sometimes it's just a beautiful story. But the cool with that is like you can see the process.
You
At
can
the
go
same time,
back
you
and
can see
check.
the
Yeah, of
people, their reaction and everything.
course, of
So for
course.
me, in that moment, I learned a lot about Arduino physical computing and put everything that together. And I
Super
think
cool.
that make the connection to the next phase. It's like, now we're going to put this for installation, for clients and everything. And I think that was in my, I think years later, I went to this job from this guy who taught me Flash. Years later, he went to
Nice.
Barcelona, learned a lot for me. I'm in Chile, so we connect in this job, and we are like the lab team. Like we are creating new stuff, and I think
The
we
what
create
team?
many
The
things.
love team or laugh team?
Lab,
Love, love. Okay, okay, okay,
lab.
okay.
So we
Okay.
create many things.
Amor.
And yeah, I learned a lot. I learned their Unity and other good software, a lot of C sharp, new ways to code. You need to think this. I remember I said like, "Hi, new job," and my friend said to me, "Okay, Paula, you need to do a VR for this client. It's a museum." And okay, but I didn't know how. I never opened Unity before. I don't know how to use Unity. And he said, "Don't worry, you have 2 weeks to learn Unity. You have these tutorials." Okay, and I'm leaving because I'm going to holidays. So bye. And he left me and was okay. And I remember the it took me 2 weeks. It's like just watching videos. They pay me for that, watching videos, tutorials. And then 2 weeks later, I was working doing a VR. The problem in that moment, Unity didn't have like
Built-in
tutorials,
tools.
anything about how to create a VR for the
Okay.
phone.
Okay.
So in that moment was just me, I don't know, creating, wasn't too much information in the website. It's like just me. And I remember the release, the examples. And I remember saw my code and them, and I saw was okay, start new project. And I started from the beginning, but I learned a lot with that. And I learned a lot with the process, and yeah, it works very well. I don't know. Right
Nice.
now it's like I don't know what I did, but it works. And then I jumped to that world, great virtual reality stuff. So
Nice.
everything is like jumping between
Connected.
physical, computer, kinect,
Yeah.
interactive, then digital, virtual, many stuff,
It's
many
very
stuff.
interesting, your way of. I love this kind of idea that you go from different jobs, you kind of get the information that you need from the job, and then you go to a different job and you get the information that you need from there, and you go to a different place. It's, it's kind of you're a very growing person. You have this like need or want or ability to grow and like evolve, like,
Yeah.
okay, you're doing graphic design and then you get this new skill and now you're evolving into something else and you get this new information and now you evolve. That's really I think that in general, like as an artist, this is very important to be able to evolve and go from things to new things, at least for me, in my personal experience, it's been very important because you can get stuck, you can get stuck and get like bored, or you get, not bored's not the right word, but you get like, you do the same thing over and over again, and then it becomes like, it doesn't become expression. It becomes like, like work or something,
Yeah.
And if you can always evolve and always learn new things and be able to apply those new things into something, then you're never working. You're just growing the whole time. You're always kind of learning new things about yourself. I think this is really beautiful.
Yeah.
So very cool. So okay, so I have I want to go into two places here. One is a little bit about the Brillo Collective, because I think that the stuff that you did there is really, really cool. And then also discovering TouchDesighner.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe you lead it,
Yeah.
Brillo Interactive, Brillo Collective, and
Yeah.
TouchDesighner.
Yeah. Before, after that job, because I was, for a moment was the job, and again the same. It was boring.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, I need to say this. I remember check Zach Lieberman works. He creates stuff with open frameworks, and
Okay.
for me it's like, oh, this is beautiful. I want to learn this. How I can do this? I need to understand math, trigonometry. How I can learn that? And I discover Daniel Shiffman. For me, it's like God. I need to say in Spanish, like Papito Dios, like Daddy God. It's like God.
Papito Dios.
Yeah, and I watched a lot of the videos, and I discovered he said, "Oh, I'm recording here in the School of Poetic Computation." And for me, what is that? And I discovered that this School for Poetic Computation in New York. And I said, okay. And I checked the school, beautiful place. And I remember checking the picture and said to me, one day I'm going to be in that picture. But first, I need to apply. I need to have the confidence to apply. And I check the request. It's like what I need to do. It's like you need to send a video talking in English, explaining why. And for me, it was I can say just hello and bye in English. So we have a problem. So first, I started learning English. Second, saving money. And third, applying. I asked too many friends, like, I read that, I write this, it's okay. They send me it's okay. Then I translate and I record. I remember it took me maybe 5 hours just recording myself for 5 minutes because I couldn't talk. I couldn't. But then I apply and they said me yes.
Wow.
And I cry in that moment
Aw.
because it's like they look at me. It's like I'm from Chile, a woman. It's like yeah.
Yeah.
And when
That's
I
beautiful.
went there, it was in 2018. I think was the best experience in my life. I meet amazing people. I learned a lot from Zach. I felt like I was inspired. It's like I create many things. And I remember the first class with Zach. He explained something about mathematical stuff. And I think in that moment, my mind was
Blew it up.
clicking. It was, everything that I learned from Daniel Shiffman was, I got it. So if I want to create this and I start typing, I got it. It's like, yeah.
That's amazing.
And I create many things. I ask to Zach many things like how I can create this or how I can approach to this. So
what's Zach?
cool
Zach,
there.
what is his name?
Zach Lieberman.
Lieberman. Okay.
Yeah, amazing. God.
Amazing.
And I remember at the end of the class or this place, we have a showcase. And I remember one of my friends said to me, Paola, yeah, Daniel Shiffman is here. No, are you kidding me? No. We both of us is like, what is him? We saw him. It was, it's there. And I remember my friend said to me, Paola, in that moment, it's like you shine, because I said all the time, like, hi, bye, thank you, how much, whatever. But in that moment, I speak like fluent English. Like, thank you very much. I'm so
right.
sorry.
You know how to speak English right away?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's because it's like, thank you, I follow you on Patreon. Thank you very much. It's like, I'm here for him because it's like, for me, it's like
He was
that.
your
And
inspiration.
and I think that is important. Teach. And I think it's a big part of me. I have the Patreon. And then when I return, I create that company with my friend, the person who taught me Flash. And we create that. Brillo Colectivo was a collective where we want to create interactive thing. We created that for almost 5 years. Was a good experience. Was a lot of stress because we are just two of us, and when we have a big interactive thing, we call more people.
Right.
But the problem is like you need to think in more things. Not only just for me was focused in more development, but at the same time I need to be think about the accounting, the finances.
Right.
And at the
So a
same
company.
time
It's
for
running
the
a company.
yeah, it's like we have a company, the meetings and everything. So it was for me it was overwhelming. So I say to my friend, I can continue. And at the same time, in 2020, I started creating stuff in TouchDesighner because I couldn't, when I learned a lot of open framework with Zach, but I couldn't create many things. It's like everything was white and black and
Right.
do the same again and again. I felt stuck. But I remember one of my friends in 2019, he said, "Oh, I'm going to do a workshop about TouchDesighner for me." What is that? And I went there for 2 hours. It was, this is
Mind
this is
blown.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it was in October. So I wait and I ask to myself, 2020, how I can create visual because I want to do it. How I can create visual and just do it, but in TouchDesighner. And I remember Zach did this exercise to post every day a visual. So I
like
said,
dailies.
I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm going to do that. So I remember was this day, it was in February 14, 2020. I post the first visual, and I tried to post every day a visual. At the beginning, it was just maybe copy and paste tutorials, but try to understand what's this going on. And I think it took me at least 6 months, 1 hour every day to understand. Like I can open now TouchDesighner and start something
Be able
from
to use it.
scratch.
Such a
Yeah.
good way to learn a program is doing like those dailies, because it forces you to just make stuff and release, you know, like not like get stuck in like, okay, this and like I always find excuse me, when I learn software, I get into rabbit holes. You're like, you get stuck on this one thing that you're trying to do, and then you get stuck in it for like a day or two, and you're trying to get into it, and then you're like, fuck it, whatever, I'll come back to it. And then like 2 or 3 days later, oh, it's that one small thing, and you go back. And like the dailies forces you to kind of just do that every day. Don't get stuck in a rabbit hole, just do the thing. It's a really good way of doing it, but it's also very difficult to spend, to do something like that every day. I've never been able to do it.
Yeah, for me it was just 2020. And after that, it's like, because at the beginning it was follow out to the tutorial and then see what happened. But the cool thing was, what happened if he put, I don't know, and the tutorial said 10 in that parameter? What happened if I put
what happened?
1,000?
Right.
It's like, cool, because right now I post a lot of tutorials, but when I receive like a feedback, it's like the same. So for me, it's important to change something else, see what happened.
Right.
What is the worst thing
Experiment.
that could happen?
Explore.
Yeah, it's like you can see like maybe.
Well, that's the beauty. That's the beauty of real time. In general, like Unity, Unreal, TouchDesignner, Notch. It's like you see what you're doing while you're doing it. So it's like a real process. With like code or especially in design, when you have to render something, you can experiment to a certain degree, but then you have to wait until you see your experiment. In real time, when you're especially with generative, you need to have that feedback. You need to see this thing does this, and get that instant kind of understanding of what you're doing. I think it's super important. Super fascinating how you found these people. I've heard of Daniel before. He's kind of like a very famous processing kind of guru. And this school that you mentioned, the School of Poetic Design, is that his school?
No, I think the founder was Zach, maybe Daniel, but I think Daniel.
So it's one of those.
He left.
They're connected.
But
to
I think right now they changed all the structure after COVID and everything. Right now it's like all the student is like in, I don't know,
remote.
I don't know the word, but it's like controlling, but there's no controlling, but organizing all the school.
Okay, like a democratic kind of thing for the school for the students. That's cool.
So
really fascinating.
Basically, yeah.
And I want to jump into your project. I think we're kind of getting close to it. But first, I just want to, I'm a huge TouchDesignner fan. I love TouchDesignner. It was kind of like, I have a funny story because I went to LPM in Rome. It's like a light performers meeting. And I've told this story before, so I'll just tell it quickly. But basically, I did a Unity workshop, and I was like, it's my first my first introduction to real-time graphics. I was doing, a lot of visuals and VJing stuff before that, and a lot of After Effects, but this is like my first introduction, and it was based around Kijero stuff. Kijero, I can't remember his last name, but he's a very famous guy, and he does like really crazy processing with particles and Connect and lots of kind of stuff like that, and audio reactive. And I was like, wow, this is so cool, but it's all C#, and I don't know anything about coding. This is like 10 years ago. I don't know anything about coding. I don't want to learn coding. I hate math. I'm like the total opposite, and I was like, kind of like at the same time, like, wow, I need to get into real time. This is so cool, but also like, I hate this coding thing. And I was at this conference and I kind of like walked around and all of a sudden I saw these two people playing with TouchDesignner and I didn't know what it was. And I kind of see them and they're like super nerdy, super geeky, like, blah, 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 blah. And there's all these nodes and everything, you know, and I'm like kind of walking around. I'm like, whoa, what is that? It's so cool. Like, what is going on there? And it was my friends Daniel and Alina Orlai, and they just, you know, TouchDesignner. I'm like, oh, wow, this is, you know, this is what I was learning in this Unity workshop, but I don't have to like write code. It's all visual based, you know, node based visual scripting. And it was like love at first sight, you know, like really such a great introduction to kind of visual processing and, visual scripting. I think that, you know, you use Notch as well, and I'm sure that I'm sure you've used blueprints in Unreal and kind of other node-based languages. I think that the best introduction to node-based languages is TouchDesignner because you're forced to learn the basics. So, you know, in Notch, you can add a particle system and it works, looks great, looks cool. You know, you can do compositing, you can do cloning, like a lot of different things, but you're not learning what it is to do instances. You're not learning what it is to do particle systems. And with TouchDesignner, you have to build it. You have to, you know, think about pixels as zeros and ones. You have to think about, you know, feedback engines and how they work. And it is a bigger learning curve, and it's harder to get something nice out of it. But the benefit of learning these processes from scratch is going to help you throughout your visual scripting life. Because if you know TouchDesignner and then you pick up Unreal or you pick up Notch, it's going to be way easier for you to understand the way around this kind of visual scripting world. What has your experience been like this, you know, with TouchDesignner and kind of visual scripting? You come obviously from coding, so it's totally different, but, you know, I'm sure it was very fun for you to be able to code with nodes, no?
Yeah, I think for me, TouchDesignner is my best friend because I'm a graphic designer. I think in visual. So for me, when I put a noise, it's like the noise that is there. I can see that.
You can see it. Yeah.
Maybe that was my thing that I couldn't do it with code. It's like, okay, I can create a noise, put the parameters, but it's like maybe I need to think too much. So the cool thing with TouchDesignner is, for me, it's like the easy way. And the cool thing, I think it's good to have a background in code that help you a lot. If not, it's okay. But yeah, for me, it's like create. And the cool thing I started in 2020 with TouchDesignner. Right now it's like 4 years. And I've been doing a lot. I've been working. People invite me because I know TouchDesignner to go another country and do stuff. I moved to USA because I know how to create a TouchDesignner stuff to do things here. So yeah, TouchDesignner 4 years give me a lot of stuff.
The whole stuff.
Just
That's awesome.
knowledge, travel, work, visuals, everything. And for me, at the same time, one of the things that I discovered is like I learned everything about TouchDesignner for tutorials. Amazing people. I remember Simon, Daniel, William, a lot of amazing people. And for me, when I discovered that, I learned everything about this because I understand English. But if you try to find something in Spanish, it's not there. That is the reason I create my Patreon channel and I create my channel. And that is because, as I tell you before, for go to the university or everything that I know, it's like I don't have money. I need to learn in another way. So for me, that is the thing about it. Like I understand TouchDesignner, everything, not in the full everything, but for me, it's like I need to share this, and I do my tutorials in Spanish and in English.
I love that.
Take time and dedication, yes, but for me, it's like the Patreon. I know the Patreon is like just because it's time and dedication. I can see that for me, take me time to think, and then it's like record one time and then record that in Spanish and then process one video, 2 videos, right now I'm doing in 4K, take time to render everything. So it's like, for me, that is important to share that in Spanish. So in Patreon, I have most of the people is from, I don't know, USA and other countries. So I know they can pay that because, again, it's hard to have that in Spanish. So for me, it's like I can create content in Spanish. So, for example, you need to think this. If I'm from Chile and I want to have access to a TouchDesighner class, you can pay like maybe one class $20, $30, not too much, with a good teacher, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. The end. I've been there. I learned a lot. But in Spanish, there is people in Chile that is, I don't know, for a workshop, it's too expensive. It's like, no. I know that in the education, everything is too much money, but it's like, no, not because I don't know a language. I need to pay more. So for me, it's like, not. So that is my statement. It's like,
Your goal.
not.
Yep.
I need for the Spanish needs to be at least, I don't know, something more accessible. It's not too much. So for me, that is the thing. So sometimes a few friends ask me, but maybe you don't need to do this content in Spanish. Maybe it's like for more money, you can do it in English. Is that at the end? But for me, it's like, not. I need to do that in Spanish.
Good.
So
that's beautiful.
that is going to help everyone. So that is like with more knowledge, more things, it's like more visual and more power. And with that, it's like you create a community and
Totally.
like everything is
expansive.
learned. Yeah. Because at the same time, when I learn a lot about Flash and everything, how I learn is like asking in forums, like, hi, I have this problem. And people give me the answer. I learn things because Daniel Shiffman create a YouTube channel and say something.
Information.
So for me, it's like, it's the only way to do this. It's like,
what's the one of the beautiful things about
tutorial.
TouchDesighner is the community, is the community of TouchDesighner. It's like people are so willing to share information, so willing to share their tools, their techniques. And like you said, like you can just, now it's not forums on Facebook or, in messages, but like you send somebody a message and they'll answer you. They'll give you the answer, they'll help you. I love that. And I think that you being part of that in the Spanish community is so important, and good for you. And money's great, money's important, money's part of life, but it's not the most important thing. And it's also, it's not you're gonna get much more out of helping the people that need help than you're gonna get from making more money. This obviously. But it's, I think it's important, because it's like, I had the same experience when COVID hit. I was kind of fucked, because all my work was visuals and VJing, and it was all, it was all events. I was doing parties every weekend. That was what I was getting money for. And then I'm like, well, what do I have to give? Okay, I know I've been doing VJing for almost, 6-7 years. I can teach VJing. I can teach visuals. I maybe get somebody inspired or excited. So I said, okay, I'll do a course. And I charged like $50 for, it was like 12-hour course, like four meetings of 4 hours. And I had like 50 people, because it was so cheap, because it was so like COVID, nobody knows what to do. Everybody's like, what do I do? What do I do? And like, it paid for my rent for like 2-3 months. It was like, okay, great. Like I can like breathe a little bit and figure out what I'm going to do now during this period. And not only that, less about the money, more about like what happened from it was people that were, it was a very basic course. It was like introduction, it was like theory, a little bit about like Resloom, a little bit about After Effects, a little bit about projection mapping, like just like little taste. But a bunch of people, not tons of people, but a lot of people from this course ended up becoming professionals, or starting to become professionals. And that is like the biggest thing, having people that you inspired that then were like, okay, I want to do this more and more and more is like the biggest reward you can get in life, I think, besides outside of money, outside of like, doing big events, inspiring people that then can now have the ability to inspire other people is like the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I've been learning that, and at the same time, I think it was 2021, I started teach virtual reality at a university in Chile. And be a teacher is like amazing. The process, it's like
You learn so
meet
much.
the people. It's like it's like know your student and all the process, and understand that everyone is different, and how you can, I don't know, it's like it's not help, but it's like approach and see and explain many things. For me, it's that like the best thing, and I try to approach in a different way with the Patreon. It's like create, learn, play with this. That is a tool. And I can see this is like in the past I played a lot of video games. It's like for me it's like this. When you are working, and then you need to do something different, you play video games.
Yeah.
Right now I don't play video games because my hobby or my
Is
thing or my fun stuff
totally.
is create
Yeah.
visuals. It's like
You're like
I don't know,
you're a
I'm
massive
inspired.
you're a massive nerd, huh? You like math, video
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
You're a
I
massive
bring my
nerd.
Nintendo Switch to USA to play.
I love that. I love that. Paola, I would love to jump into your set
Yeah.
here. I'm really excited to see what you have ready for us.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you take it away and kind of, feel free to just go on with what you're showing. I will probably ask lots of questions because I am very question oriented and
Yes.
let you take it away.
Perfect. When I started doing the visuals, and was you need to go here and you need to show visual for it's like be a VJ. I never
Mm.
did that, and I create this system, and for me this is important. It's like this is the teaching thing. It's like sometimes you need to think what is the best for the project, and in this way it's like I do real time visuals or I use videos. Sometimes that things it's like happened when you want to create stuff, and at the same time depend of your computer or whatever. But I remember at that time my computer wasn't very good, so I use a lot of videos. This is the version 2. So I create this tool where I can control everything with a MIDI, with a keyboard, and at the same time I use like a visual thing for. Yes, I can explain a few things, but for me this is the important thing: is have everything here like organized. Here is the audio. This is important. Here I create an interface, the settings, and the MIDI. And for the MIDI, I have everything here. You can see it's a lot. I create a map of all my MIDI controller, so I can move everything here. I think I can show my MIDI. Give me a second. I was prepared for this, so I can put here. I can twist.
Oh, nice.
So I think you can see it is not the best, but you can see that I have everything here, and I put papers to understand
Oh,
everything,
nice. Let me see.
because it's like sometimes it's dark and you don't see.
Nice.
Yes, it's not the best, but you can see here
Yeah, little
the papers.
notes, labels.
So for me, how this works is like sometimes here the buttons is the preset for what I want to see, and here are the effects. And I learned that it's important to put effects. So I have the MIDIs, everything is connected. So you can see it's all the MIDI controller. And a little bit of Python for setup buttons sometimes. So for me, it was important this, how I can create this. So we have the MIDI, we have settings, just maybe resolution, size, the screen of this, because maybe I'm going to be, and maybe the screen is different resolutions. So I prefer to control everything from one place. And another thing, obviously, is the audio. Right now we have an audio is just the default from TouchDesignner, But here I have
Microphone.
audio interface, so I can connect this and I can have the audio for the DJ and everything is the same. And for me, I didn't know this obviously, but or maybe I know, but at the beginning I didn't know that I need to apply this. It's because when I connect, I remember that date. I did the visual for Ella Minus, a DJ from Colombia, and I hear the music and I create things. But the thing was, she said me, no, I'm going to use another type of music. So everything my setup was
That was different.
completely different. So it's like, oh, and I need to change it manually.
Uh-huh.
So in the second time where I use this is the version 2 from, I use it for Mutec in Chile. So what I did, I connect this to my MIDI. So the cool thing is like I can control, you can see here if
The
I move
thresholds
here, I'm moving.
of the audio
Yeah.
analysis.
So
That's awesome.
sometimes, because I remember in Mutec, I did like visual for like 3 different DJs.
Acts.
So
Yeah.
each DJ is different. So I need to be sure that I can control very fast. It's like I don't need to go here and do it. I can do it with my MIDI and
Nice.
control everything. So for that, at the same time, I create this UI interface. This UI is all, you can see here, buttons and everything. I can show you with more information. But the cool thing is like, for me, I have this view. And at the bottom, I can see the audio and I can control all this. You can see here I'm moving with my
MIDI.
MIDI. I can see it's like more sensitive, the kick, the snare of the rhythm. And I can see how this is affecting or not. So with each of the DJ, I can move this, decide, oh, this is not, oh, yes. At the same time, let me check. Yeah, I can control the thread and I control the gain, sorry, there. So like,
Nice.
and I can see how this is moving for the high, medium, and the low.
Frequencies of the
So
sound.
yeah, so here I control everything with my MIDI with the left top area. So that is the one thing. Another thing, obviously, is like maybe control the light in general. Here is like for each
Scene.
visual. Here I create a mix. One is real time and another is not. It's like I decided to do it that way. Why? Because it's
Interesting.
like depends. Because in that moment I need to do it with a lot of different DJs. So I don't know too much the style. So maybe for a specific DJ, I'm going to use these videos. Can I control in this? So I can jump. And I think in the third vision, I'm going to create a fade in and fade out. But in that moment, it's like, it's okay. But the cool thing with the MIDI, I can go and change the speed faster or
scene.
not.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I can create a zoom or not.
This
And the
Ray
cool thing
TK?
is, yeah, this one.
Nice.
So the cool thing is like I can, for me, it's important. It's like everything needs to be like an automatic, but it's not. So you can play with this. It's like you can feel the music and you can move whatever you want. So it's like 50-50.
Yeah.
Because I can just do nothing and it's just moving. So you can see it's like kicking. So that is cool. And
But
another thing that
the nice thing about audio reactive
Yeah.
is that like it's even though you're controlling some of it and some of it is being controlled by the music, when it's being controlled by the music, it is automatic, but it's automatic, you know, with like part of the frequency. So it's automatic, but it's like it makes sense, you know. It's not just like looping or something like that. It's actually what it should be doing, which is reacting to the sound, which is what you're doing as a VJ, right? You're as a VJ when you move knobs and you're playing, you're doing audio reaction. So
exactly. So for me, it's it's a mix, like automatic, and then it's like you feel and you dance and you. For me, at the beginning, was scared, but then for me, it's like I'm dancing. I have videos from the record me. It's like that. But even it's like 1 hour dancing, and then I'm tired. It's like, yeah, because it's like I'm concentrating. It's like I'm creating visual in real time, and they are reactive in real time. That is the cool thing. Another thing that I discovered there is important, and I'm going to connect here to the MIDI, is the effects. Because this is, yeah, okay, we have the visual, but the cool thing with the effects is like we can create simple things
Nice.
and create colors. It's like, okay, we can put colors, but the cool thing is like add more filters. It's like, okay, I'm going to add another level of repeating there.
Nice.
What happens if I put a zoom? And you can see this. It's like, and you put very fast. So it's like a mixing of things, but it's
You get
just
something
zoom.
completely new.
Yeah, and with two effects. And the cool thing is like, okay, I'm going to take out this one, and with this, it's like, okay, I can change that filter. I can turn.
Nice.
I can, as like, change the zoom. So it's like with right now just one visual, we have a lot of different things.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, it's like, okay, we have a different thing. Okay, we have this repeating, and then you can change the intensity of this. Then we put more, and again, you can jump to another, or we can put, let me see this one, glow. And the glow is affecting again with the
Sound.
width. We can go to changing colors.
Yeah.
So for me, I have in here in the bottom the colors. Like the first is black and white. The second is this one. So I create the buttons here,
Love it.
and I can see what I want
Nice-
to jump.
nice
Obviously,
palettes.
yeah. So it's like, oh, I have different thing, and then I can jump 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and jump with the rhythm of the music. And
It's crazy
yeah.
how much like changing the color palette changes the visual. You know, I also find this like you have a color palette and then all of a sudden you do a hue rotate and it's like feels like it's totally different. You know,
Yeah.
like even though it's the same, it's just the way that colors create such intricate different patterns is it's so cool.
Yeah. And the cool thing is just one visual. It's like, okay, I have 20. We have a lot of material. So
Right.
yeah, and then I did to just a hue color moving, just jumping. So it's like a hue
Nice.
color.
Rainbow.
And yeah, so it's like I need. So yeah, and then we have all different. But the thing is this. This is the jumping with particles. This is real time. And you can see it's like I'm selecting this area. It's like right now we are in this one. Okay. It's like, okay. And I can jump the pen. It's like creating this particle. I can move. For me, it's like I need a bigger MIDI controller. But it's like, okay, I can create a system and control this. And again, I can apply the same effects,
And
the
get something
same
new.
filters.
Yeah.
And again, add another one. We have 2 layers of this, and then add a second one, a third one. And again, I can put the color. So the cool thing is that, and this is just real time. I can jump to here. I don't know. I'm not right now. I'm playing and see what happened. But this is a cool thing for me in this version 2. I can use maybe another software. I can use maybe another thing. But for me, it's important. It's like I have this visual. I want to put or use it in the best way possible. So for me, it's this one. It's like create parameters for this visual and see what happens. Maybe in the future, I'm going to do something different, much professional. But yeah, at this tool, you can put real time and videos, and you can jump. And I discovered this that, oh, give me a second. It's nothing happened. The color. This one. So it's like this is working or not.
Oh, I
So
like that.
yeah, this change. So you can see, I can put it. Yeah, and I create the buttons just for put in the monitor or not. But yeah, so you have that. It's reacted to the real time, and again, I can put the colors and I can jump whatever. It's
Nice.
like I know which one I liked. And I discovered this when I jumped to the 1 and 2 and 3. At the first time, take time. But when I do it with the second one, it's less time. I don't know why. It's like TouchDesignner It's weird sometimes. Sometimes it's like this is I didn't like it. I didn't use it, but
Oh,
this is I like it a lot. I
nice.
can show you. Give me a second. If I can put the visual here, I'm going to show you this. Here is everything is the visual. Oh, sorry, here. So here is a controller. You can see. Maybe I
Nice.
have
For
problem
the
for
scenes.
resolution, but all the visuals and connected to a big one switch.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I have all the effects. Have tile
Nice.
effects, light tunnel, edge.
Sweet.
So I'm adding new layers and new layers. Here I control the color and I have this output.
Nice.
So I'm going to put this visual so we can, and I can go, give me a second, maybe here. Try to figure it out. But yeah, the cool thing is this. And I create for this one, this is different. I have buttons, so I can change the
Ooh,
visual.
beautiful. It's like a
Jump.
particle system on an image, like an image emitter.
Particle system.
Very nice.
So yeah, I can change the speed.
Beautiful.
And I can change the color. And we have different way to see this. It's like this one. And the cool thing, one of
nice.
the color that I like to a lot is the gold. I think it's this one. No, it's this one. But this one is beautiful, so you can see. And I can start adding the effects and create weird things. Sometimes like go crazy, like an explosion. And another one that I like it a lot. I miss the 6, I think so. This is more 3D. And this one in a projection is, it's amazing. It's like, wow. So the cool thing shadows. I can do is the zoom in.
Nice.
Change the speed. So yeah, this is, you can see it's not a beautiful thing for move, but it helped me a lot how what
Create
I want to
system.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe in the future I'm going to do maybe a feed. The feed is like fade in, fade out. But yeah, I can control everything here with the again with the MIDI and add more layers if I want. So yeah, it's like crazy like that or not. So you can jump and move whatever you want. And with simple effect, this light tunnel is default for default from TouchDesignner. But the cool thing is how you apply this, how you can manage all of this. And then at the same time, it's like, it's okay if it's real time or not. It's okay if just it's a video.
Nice.
This is a video. Okay. It's important. This one, yes. How many layers you add to this? Because this is, but yeah.
This is a video now?
Yes. Yeah, this is a video.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you just zooming in and out of it?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Super
So
cool.
that is the cool thing. It's like it's like when you use Resolum, you can put a lot of videos there. But the cool thing is like the same. So for me in this case was because I was working with different DJs. It's like I don't want to, because I need to work like was for 5 hours that event. I love my computer, so I don't want to stress too much. And I didn't know how the other DJs ours is like. I don't know what is your style, because the organization wasn't very good. But the thing for me was, okay, what I want to apply again these videos and see what is the best thing that I can do, and then apply effects and see I can use it. So you can see it's like weird things there.
Nice.
And just videos, and then change color,
right.
whatever. It's like I have control for this, and jumped. I like this one. But this is important. You need, for me, what is important, control the audio with the MIDI, because the first time I didn't do it. It was a problem fixing manually everything.
Right.
But when you
Right.
have control the audio and you MIDI, it's like very fast and see what happened. I think have a visual thing. For me, it's like, oh, I can see the kick.
Mm-hmm.
It's okay. The snare is okay. The ring.
Yeah.
And what happened with the high and mid, everything, the frequency and
Yeah.
how they move. So because sometimes I remember when you specifically when you work with the, for example, a glow effect, that glow effect, if you put too much, maybe everything is white
Mm-hmm.
and destroyed your visual or
Right. Especially if
everything
it's audio
that you
reactive,
create.
it's gonna be.
Yeah,
You gotta be careful. You gotta be able to control how
exactly.
strong the effect is for
Strong,
sure.
yeah. So for me, it's important to see it's like, okay, the glow is a control. It's okay. I can change a few things. And
Mm-hmm.
another thing is like sometimes you need to calibrate this. I don't know who sent me this, but it's like the tip is like have at the end, just control the brightness, gamma and contrast, saturation and everything, because maybe you are working with a very bad projector or a very good LED LED panel.
Panel. Yeah.
So the colors, the thing that I don't know, I have right here, maybe it's not the same.
Of course.
And
Of course.
yeah, because I remember in an event in Mutec, and
Mm-hmm.
the projector was okay, but they have at the same time LED panel, big
Mm-hmm.
one, was too saturation. The red was amazing,
Mm.
but in the projection was
It was
was
flat.
not too good. Yeah,
Yeah.
flat. So it's like, okay, how I can manage a lot of these things. So yeah, this is the thing. It's like
Super cool.
be organized, apply a few filters. So you can see style, a few filters. You don't need 8, 10. For me, I think it's just
Too
3, and I
much.
have a
Yeah.
glow in the color. Just
Nice.
that. But that is the trick. Maybe everything doesn't need to be in real time.
Mm.
Depend of your computer.
No, but I like the aspect of like that you're mixing, even if you're using video, you're still using audio reactive things to create more interest in the
Yeah,
video. I think it's really
yeah.
smart. I'd love to see, and this is obviously, up to you, but I'd love to
Yeah.
see that Particles 2D scene. It looks really cool. Just jump into
This
it
one.
maybe, like see how it works.
Yeah, give me a second. This one. You can
Yeah.
see here with the glow, this is not working. So another thing that's important to see is how your visual is working or not, how it's going to work. Because maybe when one effect didn't work. Give me a second, J. Oh, give me to check this. Okay.
See how the sausage is made.
Yeah, it's a lot. So yeah, we have a system. Here is
I
which
love your
you
node
can
graphs.
see.
So nice and organized.
You can see here is instancing. I think I use one of the tools. I don't remember the name, just for create these noises.
Mm-hmm.
What's that tool or
Like a
no? No, but I
kaleidoscope.
create this ramp. Yeah, like for create this one. I don't remember. I'm going to send you the name and you can put it there. But
Okay.
the creator create these components so you can have this.
Oh,
That helped me a
Complexop. Yeah,
lot.
it's Daniel's.
Yeah.
It's Daniel Molnar's effect.
Yeah, Daniel. Thank
Yeah.
you, Daniel. Yeah. But yeah. Yeah, but yeah, for create this different view,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
because with a ramp or a noise you can create a few things, but
Yeah.
with this you can create random
Infinite.
things,
Yeah, totally crazy
infinite.
stuff.
But it's not complicated. It's just ramp. Here you can see it's like detecting the audio, the kick, and everything
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
connected and send the
Interesting.
information to
Into
this.
instances.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's also a
So yeah,
feedback
you can see. Yeah, yeah. I add a feedback at the later. You can see
mm-hmm.
here.
at the part with the particles.
Sorry. Yes, feedback here to add more things, more.
Love
And
it.
for me, I like to add. This is important. For me, it's important to add like the blur, because maybe I love too much movies, but I like to add like this. You're going to
Motion
be
blur.
focused, yes, in this area, in the center. This is the most important thing. The rest is okay, but I want to be focusing here, so you can see
So the
here is,
Luma blur is only being affected
yeah.
to the sides. I love that. That's really
Yeah,
smart. It's like a fall off.
yeah, I have a tool. Yeah, I have a tool. I create a few tools for me, and this effect I have. Oh, okay,
Oh,
yes,
careful.
don't worry. But I have this focus, and I hope don't crutch.
Don't
But it's
crash.
like I can circular,
So cool.
vertical,
I
or
love
horizontal,
it.
and I have the
I
Luma
love it.
blur.
What a great
So
idea.
for me, that is important. I think that give you a different. I think grain and that this Luma blur give you like the different of, I don't know, quality, but for things, especially
higher
when you
level.
work with 3D. Yeah, when you work with 3D, try to work with that. Put a depth there and see the difference, because
So
when it's
interesting.
this, for me, it's like when you put that in, just for me, this
Flat.
it's okay, flat. It's like you create a beautiful like background too, but with this, it's like you try to say something different, to try to put center here.
Yeah, yeah.
That
yeah.
is the main thing.
It's so subtle, but it's like the way that your eye works, the way that your brain looks at things, it really focuses the attention. That's a really cool effect. I really like that. That's really great.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that is important. Maybe I can show you something. I have time. I don't know.
Yeah. For sure. Show us everything.
This is all. Yeah, this is all the tutorial that I have in TouchDesighner. You can see there is a lot. I need to stop this. This is in Patreon. We have this. Oh, this is new. This is next month.
Definitely check out Pao's Patreon. We'll have a link for it in the bottom. Highly recommended. Lots of really great stuff, and it's super affordable, and you get lots of past information, and it's in Spanish as well. So I don't know if we have any Spanish listeners. I hope we do, but if we do, then go check it out.
Cool. Yeah, I'm here. You can see I'm very organized with the first tutorial and the last one.
Nice.
Creative stuff. This is the last one. And
Ooh,
I
wow.
want to show you this. It's because with this, I didn't add it here, but the cool thing is you have this creature, it's okay, you have dots moving, you have, but the cool thing is like add that effect that I told you,
Yeah,
that give you different thing, the focus, the grain depends. When you have, this is too black, so the grain didn't work. But the focus is like maybe we want to be.
Oh yeah,
you can't
even compare. It's just like it's so powerful. Especially because this is like it has a center point. It has like a center point, and it's like without it, you're kind of like looking all around. But then with it, you get such a strong focus pull into the center.
Difference.
Yeah.
So I think this is important when you try to. When you work with 3D, it's like, what is the message? And I think it's a good thing to watch movies. I love movies. I'm very nerd, so you can see video game movies, everything. But the video games, when and this is for the photography stuff. My mother, obviously, when you try to what is the most important thing here at the center? So this is not important. It's not in focus. So here it's like flat image. Here is some message. So it's important to work with that, I think. So and it's not trick, it's just a ramp and a Luma blur. The end is nothing too much. And another trick, maybe nobody knows this, but maybe yes, if you want maybe a more professional, I can say, you have the depth with this
from the render.
It's like they take the depth of the camera. For me, it's always like, for me, it's like, what are you doing? I don't know. I'm just moving and going to put 32. And for me, works, I think, range. The same. It's like, what is the black, we can define what is going to be in focus and not, the white or the black. So you can play with, going to put, depend the distance of your camera, I'm going to put F5 here. So you are creating, you can see it's like, maybe we can focus in these areas.
It's almost like, what's it called? Like depth of field. It is depth of field.
Yeah. This depth of field. So you
Yeah.
can play with this and see. Maybe in this visual is not too good because we have too many
It's
details.
thin.
But
Yeah.
maybe when you have a maybe a sphere or a toad or
Mm-hmm.
something like this,
Mm-hmm.
you can apply this and you
Mm-hmm.
have a more professional. Because for me, it's just one layer,
Mm-hmm.
gradient, the end, and I can change. This is circular or horizontal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can play with that. But for me, this is important, and I use it a lot. And then sometimes I can maybe in this visual is going to work more this grain. Again, you can say me what it is this a noise, a level, and not
Yeah.
overlay. Just that. It's again, it's like in movies you have that grain level. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put more things so you can see this,
Yeah.
but it's not
Yeah.
too much. Obviously, just to see. But you create with the focus of
Mm-hmm.
this blur, you create a new layer of information.
Mm.
So this is the trick when you add more information. So yeah, you can have this, but with little details, the visual can change,
It's
and
also,
you can play with it.
when we're in a digital world, everything's very perfect, like things, especially like with a render, things are, they're supposed to look they're supposed to look clean and like exact. But maybe when
Yeah,
you're trying to tell your story or trying to express yourself, you don't want it to be so clean and so perfect. You want it to be more human, more organic,
yeah,
and adding grain or kind of focusing your attention with the blur is such a good way to do it. I really
yeah,
love this lesson. It's great.
yeah. And another, I'm going to show you another thing that I
More.
can't.
Keep on going. Show us
Yeah,
everything.
yeah, okay. This is I think they call it a sneak peek or something like this is for the next month, but for
Oh,
the
sneak peek.
tutorial. Yeah, that's the word. Thank you. I was close. This is the thing because sometimes when I think when you create something, it's like, how are I going to start? I have a sphere
Where do you
and I
start
put a
from? Yeah.
texture. Yeah, the end. I have a torus and I put a texture. The end. For me, it's try to what happened if we see the visual in a different way.
Mm.
It's like what? And this is a
Ooh.
torus, but it's inside of the torus.
Mm.
So it's like
Right.
I'm going to put. Give me a second. 5. So this is
Yeah.
a torus.
Displaced Taurus.
It's
Yeah.
just that. Just that, and nothing new. Is just that. I can rotate that. Always confused which one. No, the other one. Oh, no, this one. Yeah, it's like it's this one. It's a torus. It's that. But the thing is, try to think we have a camera. This is 3D world. We have a camera. What happened if we started to close up and discover that we have something inside?
Mm.
And just put a material and you just twist and you animate a twist. You can create something like that. So it's like, and just simple thing, put light. This is important in 3D. This is like you go to cinema for the blender or whatever. This is important is the light. And photography is the same, and movie is the same. So it's like camera, light, or if you depend on the material, environment, light. And then obviously the same process. I put, you can see, love the RGB delay, the grain again, and then Luma blur for just, it's the same. I can put that, it's okay. But with the Luma and everything, I just focus in this. And I create a fog of something weird here. And the light, like the white is like light, but I don't have, I have a light here. But this is like the invitation to
The contrast.
see, and what happened if I don't know, tune this? What happened if I go and zoom in all of this? So that is the cool about the totals. It's like you can create weird thing, and this is just a material. It's
Is
not
this
a
just a
complex
material? It's
total.
not a noise on the geometry. It's just a material. The material is making
Yeah,
that
it's
pattern.
a noise. Yeah, it's a noise with a displace. So I can create this.
Yeah.
And I create a
Mirror
ramp just for
edge.
give more information. Just that. And then I apply. It's
It's a
nothing
height map.
weird
It's a
stuff.
height map. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So you can see
Got you.
here with no twist, no twist.
Hmm.
With the twist, you can see here. So
Very
that's a
nice.
cool thing.
The
Yeah.
twist makes
So
a
it's
lot. Makes a huge effect, right?
yeah.
Because it's
like, what
twisting
is
the
that?
height map. It's twisting the height map. It's
Yeah.
very effective. Very cool.
So it's like, yeah, that is the trick. Try to see what happened. And the cool thing is like you can create many, many things. For me, it's like this is one visual. What happened if I change this
The
effect? What
noise.
happened if I do something different?
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, play and see what happened. And when
Beautiful.
you create something, for me, it's like I create something. What happened? I don't know. A year later, and I learn new thing. What happened if I mix techniques? What happened if I do something different? So yeah, let's try to figure it out and see what happened. That is my rule. For me, I want to create like creatures and things like that. Take me time, and I understand how to do it, but it's just line and create like a tentacle, something like that.
Mhm.
And then it's instancing, and again, it's instancing, nothing like crazy, and see what happened.
But it's effective. You know, it's
Yeah.
things don't have to be crazy. I have this problem because I'm very like I like to make things crazy, and make things very non-simple, and then sometimes it's good results, sometimes it's not good results, and a lot of the time when I stop and say to myself, okay, well, the thing that I'm trying to make is very complicated and very complex, but what's the simplest part of it? You know, is it I have this thing with Merkabahs. I love this Merkabah shape, and I have like a few different types of them where each one has like a different type of thing. And one of them was too much things going on, too many particles, too many like things happening. So I just kind of took it away and then started bringing it back very slowly, like removing all the effects, all the forces, and just bringing it back. What's the base thing of this? Okay, now add something. Now add something. And then I realized that half of the forces, I don't need them because they're just doing the same thing again and again. And this is very important, I think, when you're designing something or exploring something. Complexity is not necessarily bad, but it can sometimes hide the beauty in the simplicity.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, in this, I want to show you at the same time the process.
Of how you found this. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. For me, I want to create. I learned how to create this tentacle. So this is a big one. Because it's different. So it's like create the tentacle, and then I connected these two, so you can see here's there.
Love it.
And then I create it's a tube, and then I change the tube, just mixing materials. But the cool thing is like, okay, I got it. I can create this. What happened? And then I create this one from the tutorial. And then what happened if, for me, it's like, what happened if I create, I don't know, I try with a sphere and see what happened. And again, jump to another one, the same, and copy and paste. And then what happened if I want to create like a jellyfish, something like that? Yeah.
Nice.
And then for me, it's like, okay, what happened if I take just the head of the jellyfish and see something? Right now, I'm working in this one. It's like, what happened if I'm going to add new things? But it's the like process and see what happened. It's the same, but it's like rotating or whatever. But try to just copy and paste. It's like, I like it, copy and paste, and continue with another one.
Right,
Maybe
start something different.
Yeah.
Totally.
So for me, yeah, sometimes I have 27 stuff like here, like, because like I like this one, and try to see. So you can see here, I have my tutorials. I guess the outputs is like what I. Give me a second for to stop this. I have all the tutorials, but at the same time, I have the originals when I create something.
The first
here, maybe you have Fluffy with 2. This one, maybe I have inside Fluffy. 5 options.
What's Fluffy?
And
I want to see Fluffy. I got to see Fluffy.
Fluffy. This one.
Fluffy
I don't know the
original.
version. I need to. Yeah, I didn't know that I need to put the.
You
You can see a
you
lot.
gotta
I
get
have
the
a lot of
tool.
version.
Do you know this tool? It's called TouchDesighner. What is it called? Touch. Shit, I have it here. It's called TD Launcher. Do you know this one?
No.
It's like a launcher for TouchDesighner, and it kind of it has all your versions of TouchDesighner, and then when you launch it, it tells you what version to launch the project automatically. It's really good. I'll send it to you.
This is fluffy or fluffy.
Ooh, wow! Look at that.
Yeah, I
Super
learned how
fluffy.
to create this. Well, whoa. But it was very simple, just using a fractal.
Ah,
So
very
you have the
nice.
font, and I create was topology with GPU, depending on what you want.
Uh-huh.
And then the fractal and the fractal.
Interesting.
You need to be careful for your computer,
Yeah, it's
but
very
a
intense.
few things like division one. But you
Start with
can
one.
create
Yeah.
things that, yeah, and then things like option
Oh,
2,
cool.
try colors,
Interesting.
and again, Sartorius. See what happened.
I love
And the
it.
cool thing, you're just moving the ramp. Is simple. It's a ramp, but that is the material.
Super cool.
Then we have. Then I try with a different. It's like a S, but it's maybe Sartorius with a twist.
Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
twist. Yeah. Nice. Super cool.
So you can see it's the same. And again,
What is your
simple
process
thing.
to find things? You just kind of explore. You're just playing, or like you have an idea.
Yeah, for me, I try to put a switch, and I put spheres, the boxes, everything, so I can see what is different for this one and the other one.
Yeah.
But for me, at the beginning, I didn't know what I was doing. It's like because months later, I discovered that we have the operator snippets. I didn't know.
Oh yeah,
I
the op
didn't know.
snippets. Yeah, that's very
Yeah,
important.
so I didn't know. So it's like, okay, for me was twist what happened with this and move and move. It's like crazy. Okay, I'm going to break this. What happened if I add another twist and change the axis? It's like, see. So for me, it's like I like it, but I know that I'm breaking the shape. But yeah, it's like, okay, maybe I need to add more, but my computer is going to be slow. So it depends. It's a mix of things. So it's like, okay, cool. So for me, at the beginning was just exploring and a lot of breaking stuff.
A lot of breaking.
Believe
Yeah,
me,
crashing.
yeah. I crashed. I remember was doing an instancing about spheres, and for a moment my computer was turned off many times, and
Oh
was
no.
because I was working with 3D. And I think Billion said to me that when you put a sphere and the sphere collapse each other, the system is like too much,
Yeah.
boom, die. But yeah, for me it's like testing. And when I like something, it's like, okay, I like it, going to copy and paste and going to change the color and going to change the shape. Okay, I like it, copy and paste, change the color, and then change it maybe in this area, the shape, or maybe could be just, you can see that now it's around that is different. So it's like, believe me, with simple things, you don't need too much. And with here, it's like saturation, maybe here. Yeah, saturation. But it's simple thing.
So it's for you. It's like is there an image in your head that you're kind of like thinking, okay, I want to make something fluffy. I want to make something fractal, or is it really just like, okay, I'm going to start with some basic shape, add this.
Depends.
You have these techniques.
I think so.
Depends.
Yeah, depends. I'm from code, so for me sometimes it's like technique. Oh, I want to create instancing pad or particles. So sometimes it's technical. But sometimes, for example, with the last one, with the creature organic thing, for me, I want to create something like that.
Interesting.
But for that, I need to learn how to do it in a technical way.
Right.
So it's like depends. I think in the past it was more technical things, like I want to particles. I want to, I don't know, more about materials. Now that I know a few things, like now I want to create this visual. I want to create more organic stuff. For me, it's like plants, organic stuff. So it's like movement, tentacles, things moving. So I think that is will be the next goal to do it.
Cool.
But yeah, at the beginning is more technical stuff. And I can see that in all my things here, more technical, and then it's more organic because I understand a few things. So yeah, this is just Patreon, and I have, give me a second, and I can show things. I have in my code art, TouchDesighner, I have art, I have all my visual that I show up in
Nice.
posts on Instagram.
Nice.
So it's like reads,
yeah, I want to
things
actually
like
show.
that.
I wanted to show
yeah.
your Instagram because it's really, I mean, it's really powerful. Like you have so much beautiful stuff here, and I love the progression. You know, like you go from this like very like GLSL kind of like, you know,
I've been learning
simple like, you know, but pretty like effects, and then all of a sudden it's just like, you know, intricate 3D design. Like look at this. I mean, this is so nice. These particles, super cool. You know, I really like your Instagram. It really jumped out at me. I think you post a lot. Like you have so many different styles almost, you know. No, I mean in a good way.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. For example, that one is a Ray TK. It's the same, but it's like I want to do a reactive and see what happened.
I love these,
and
by the way. These are
is,
so nice.
I love
this
it.
is Ray TK?
I went to no, that is just noises. I went to
Really?
Argentina. Yeah, just image noises and with
but
displays.
it's like but how are you getting these like sharp lines?
Feedback. You can see it's repeating to the back.
Yeah, I see.
That is the trick. So for me, that is the cool thing. Cool. Understand that how this thing works. It's just
right.
Tricks. And
I love this. I mean, this is the stuff that I like the psychedelic kind of like pattern, you know, like almost some sort of native kind of like thing, you know. It's super cool.
Yeah.
And you have that little tiny RGB delay, like it creates such a strong like extra little like cherry on top, you know. Because if it was just black and white, it would be cool, but that little extra piece makes it so nice.
Yeah. You can see right now my screen, and I'm sharing that project specifically.
Oh, yes. Let's go. Show me.
So you can see here.
Nice.
It's a noise with very...
low pixels.
So, low pixel.
Yeah.
And the thing is, sorry if I'm moving too fast.
No.
I'm working in a Mac, and this is PC. Sometimes like, again, mouse. Okay. And then I change the resolution, and I do a display. So you can see this one. It's moving to the left, moving to the right. And then I have this one, some more black and white.
Okay.
I do this feed. It's the same. I just
stretch it.
Thank you. And I have these lines with a composite. It's multiply, and you create this type of lines.
Interesting.
And after that, you create the alpha channel, create a feedback. And then we have this, it's a slit
scan effect.
Scan. Yeah, I think William did it. And then I create my own, but it's like just duplicated to the left and right, so you can see here. And here we have the visual, and I create a feedback. And you can see
another feedback to get the lines going down.
Yeah.
Wow. Super cool.
With the feedback, you have that. And then I are at the RGBA delay, add a noise for create a random to create this
displays. Love it.
And then create the level. And this tool was one of my friends in Argentina give me this kaleidoscope effect.
Yeah.
Because it's just in case it's shader.
Yeah.
And I think
it's on the derivative website, this GLSL kaleidoscope. It might be a different one. But there is a GLSL kaleidoscope that you can access. It's cool. It's very powerful.
and I use it just for, and I did
Yeah,
that.
nice.
And then I add another,
Oh,
that no, cancel. Yeah, sorry, I'm pressing Command
careful.
S. No, this is,
Yeah, you're
this
used to
is
pressing on a
Control.
Mac.
This is Window. Yeah, I'm jumping. It's
That's
like,
so funny.
and then we have the RGB again. And then I add a grain for give that texture that, like, you can see in the white areas, it's like a detail. And then I focus just in case, because it's not, it's just
Pal, can you
lines
go
there. I don't like
back
it.
to the
Yeah.
where you're making the depth, like where you're making it go out? It's like the second feedback, I think.
This one, I think
Yeah. So,
It's
so
just
you're
a transform
just
scale.
a transform. Oh, it's so simple, but it's so
Scale.
effective. It's going from
Yeah.
from 2D to 3D, just like that.
Yeah, just like that. The
Love
cool
it.
thing is,
I
like,
love it.
if I change that, not transform,
Yeah.
just lines.
Just lines. Yeah. But then you
But
get
with
that.
that, you change the
depth.
scale is like a detail.
Yeah, it's so
And the
crazy.
cool thing is, like, I have that. You can see I have a lot. I have this one.
I
It's
love
the
this
same. I
effect.
change the kaleidoscope. Maybe I change the noise.
Do you have a
What is
tutorial
the,
for this one?
For the grid, yes. I think it's in Patreon. I think so.
Okay.
I'm thinking which of the
Which of the ones?
yeah
Okay, well, I'll have to watch this again and go through it. I love it. I love that effect. It's such it's so subtle, but it's so pretty. You know, there's just such a nice prettiness to it.
yeah. My computer collapsed right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we were asking a lot from it. As long as we don't lose the stream.
People can die.
Yeah, everything's dead.
Yeah.
Everything's going.
Yeah, died. Good.
Let's see what else we got here. I love this one too. Look at this, so nice. This is
Yeah. I
is an,
was trying
image,
to learn
AI.
artificial intelligence
yeah, very nice.
and see. Yeah, I have a Stable Diffusion in my PC, so it's like, yeah.
Nice. Do you have the
That is a torus. For me, it's like
stream
a
diffusion?
torus with feedback. No, that is. Sorry.
the stream diffusion, the dot simulate
yeah.
stream diffusion? Lyle?
Yes. Yeah.
Should get it's super nice. And these are also super cool, like really nice particle effects. This Ray TK. I love this.
Yeah. For me, it's always a sphere in a torus. And for me was
Oh,
at the
look at
beginning,
this.
I
Nice.
figured it out that I tried to learn
Houdini.
Houdini. Houdini.
Very nice.
Yeah. Then when I realized that take too much time to do
To
it,
render.
check the water with the, check the water, the liquid
This
thing,
one?
or the glass on the top of that one.
Nice.
That is, I think I did a video with that.
Nice.
And I
Very
put
nice.
an effect. It was for me the most 3D ever. And then done. I need to go.
No more 3D. I love it.
No more 3D. But for me, it's a lot of 3D stuff. It's like a sphere in torus. And
Yeah.
then I discovered that I can do, it's like, for me, it's like full image. And I challenge myself to like cover stuff. Because you can see it's like just image.
I love that.
In the center. Always is a sphere in the center.
Yeah, you're very like classical photography, you know, like this classic kind of focus on the center point, like a center point, like a character or something.
Yeah.
This is Notch, I see. Very nice.
Yeah, it's not. I learned a lot of not, and then I did a project. I think I did two, and then it was okay. It's enough. I need to return to TouchDesighner. You can see there is a lot of notch.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
it's like I
Notch
need
is-
to understand this.
Notch is great. It's you know, it's good for. I have this whole thing in the podcast that like I hate Notch, but I honestly I use Notch for years. Like, because my thing was the opposite. I got into TouchDesighner, fell in love with TouchDesighner, but then I was like, okay, I want to do more 3D, and TouchDesighner 3D is like, you know, it's not amazing. It's great, but it's not amazing. And then I found Notch, and I was like, oh, I love this. This is like TouchDesighner, but in 3D. But then I realized that Notch, it's a closed environment. It's not a like TouchDesigner is a language. It's like a, open framework. Notch is not an open framework. It's very, you can get super cool stuff with it, but there's like a ceiling, and like with TouchDesignner, I feel like there's no ceiling. You just can just continue forever and explore and explore and explore. These are really nice though. These are beautiful.
Yeah.
Cloners,
For me,
just
was that
cloners.
is, yeah.
Just really nice shading though. What were you going to say for you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, for me was try to understand how duplicate stuff and see what happened and move it.
Yeah.
Like instancing was okay.
Instancing.
This is instancing.
Yeah.
I want to do it and see what happened.
Did you use Notch on a project? Was it like successful?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did in one project. I think I have. Let me see. I have the link. It's for my current job. Maybe I have the job for that.
There you go. That's really funny.
Just checking out, on the website. Or silent canvas. Yes, they have the access.
Yeah, I'd love to know more about what you're doing for this place. Like, are you making music videos or experiential stuff?
Both. Yeah. Oh, here's one of the videos. You can see this one. Let me check the other one. Name is Fox Hollow. I remember talk with Chris, right now my boss, and I said, because he asked me for a visual, a specific thing, and for, I don't know, 1 minute video at the end. And then he liked it, and then he asked me to do it, the full video for another, this was for another song. And I did all these shapes and not.
Nice. Beautiful.
And I said, sorry, I don't know how to use this software, but I want to use it. I want to use particles. Don't be worried. Everything is going to be okay. In 1 month, I'm going to do it. And he said,
Nice.
okay, I believe you. So yeah, I apply a lot of particles, and then I learned how to apply that
trail.
to the
3D trail.
to the people. Yeah, like learning thing.
Oh, like iMag effects. Like
Yeah.
Nice.
And then but for me I want to apply or create this creature. At the beginning it was complicated because I like how I can move forward, how I can create it. But the cool thing was, okay, you did creature organic thing in TouchDesignner, you can do it here. Do the same.
Right. The same type, same style. Yeah.
It's the same. So I have this creature on TouchDesignner created, my Instagram account.
Nice.
It's like, okay. And I learned how to do it, this or reacted and everything I created. Then when I got it, it's like, okay, I can create this, I don't know, organic thing in different point of view. Yeah. And the last video that I created for them was this with particles.
Nice.
And yeah, but the cool thing is like moving, and then I use the kaleidoscopic thing.
Beautiful.
But the thing was try to put particles to a videos. So I did, this is a mix. I did a few videos. One is like one visual, and then I do the sphere, and then I mix everything in maybe a Premiere when After Effects. So it's like mixing a lot of videos.
Super cool.
And then if just go small and have the visual there. But the cool thing was they sent me a video of the singer. So it's like a lot of particles.
Very nice. Is this TouchDesignner or Notch?
TouchDesignner. Everything here is TouchDesignner. Yeah. Nice. Notch, I quit to it. Not.
Enough said.
So,
but I love this. I love this effect. Super nice. Really nice trail feedback fit.
I think the hardest thing for me is like...
Is it flex or is it just normal particles? It looks very fluid.
Yeah, it's flex. Yeah,
it is flex, right? Yeah, it looks very fluid. I love it.
So for me, I think the hardest thing was try to match the colors, because one visual is different, it's different technique, so the color, the yellow is not the same. Yeah, it's a lot of things. So I think, take me time. And then here's again the same particles, but then I add
With the video.
feedback and a slit scan to move around.
Ah, lovely.
So it's like it's the same filters that I use to VJ stuff and
Right.
for all that kind of stuff, but it's like applying.
Super nice.
So yeah, for this company, I'm the director of how to put it, like director of visual media and arts. So it's like focusing like in design of everything. And right now they're going to create an interactive experience. I can't say too much. It's
Yeah,
secret.
yeah, yeah. Don't tell
But
too
it's
much.
like yeah, we are focusing that, like put something interactive.
Super
More
cool.
than interactive, I think immersive. I can say
Immersive.
that. That
Yeah,
is
that's a good word.
yeah, and see what happened. So yeah, I continue doing visuals. I mix up videos, editing, design, and yeah,
That's
immersive
awesome.
things.
Well,
Yeah.
Pao, thank you so much for showing us into your world. This kind of back behind the scenes, how the sausage was made. Super fascinating. I want more. I want to see more and more and more. I think that I'm sure everybody else is going to want to as well. I think that the best way to see this kind of more stuff, and we're gonna talk a little bit more after this, but I think the best way to get into Pao's work is to go to her Patreon and see kind of just there's a lot of stuff here that you don't need to pay for to see, and I think that your YouTube as well is also a really good place to get some information. And highly recommended. It's obvious that you have a really knack and good way of teaching and showing interesting things that can allow one to explore and express themselves. So thank you again for showing us into that world. Okay, so I wanted to get into a few topics here. Just first, because you kind of touched on it when we were going through your set, the difference between kind of like video and real time and kind of like where that is connected. I'm a classic VJ. I studied film, but I kind of got into VJing with mixing video and then went into real time and generative. And now I don't have any video in my sets. I'm like almost a purist when it comes to things like this. But I see the, especially you showed it so nicely, I see the power and effectiveness of having video clips, especially if you kind of approach them in a real-time way or a generative way. So I just kind of like, just like a more esoteric kind of like higher level kind of brain release from you of like, what does it feel like to VJ? What is your kind of like, where does it meet you? Like, what does it feel like to you? Because it's a very different thing, VJing.
Because I've been working TouchDesigner for 4 years, almost 5. And the first time that I was a VJ was at, I can say this, Richie Hawtin called me Plastic Man. It's like,
oh, wow.
Like, what? You need to go here to Miami in 2 weeks. And for me was,
wow.
Who? Who is Plastic? Who is Richie Hawtin? Google. My thing is, I don't know about music. That is my thing. I don't know about music. It's like, what is rock? What is it? I don't got it. I don't have a band that I follow. I don't have that. And I think it's because when you put a music, I can't see image. Maybe that is the reason that I create image to videos for music, because it's like I can connect that. And with that, it's like, oh, I can see the video. I can see the music. So for me, everything is visual. So when Richie, I can say this, was Richie and Prada thing, and I say no 2 or 3 times.
You said no, and they kept on coming back to you?
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool.
Maybe because they don't have people, because they want to create a thing in Miami. Yeah, I think so. I think they want someone in Miami, and they want like Latinos. Ooh, Miami. Ooh. For me, Miami is not Latinos, but okay, Latinos. But and I say no because I didn't have a good computer in that moment. And I think I remember this. one of my students, now is my friend, one of my students contact another friend, and he not give me, but I think it's borrow or lend the computer. So it's like, oh, thank you. I met this guy in the subway. Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Paola. Bye. Thank you for your computer. And I traveled to Miami with that computer. And at that moment, because the computer was okay, but it wasn't very good. And I discovered that all my visual and everything is like a lot of real
Lagging.
time and consuming graphic cards. Like, oh, I didn't know that. That I in that moment for that event, I did just videos. But the cool thing I learned that using different effects works. It's fine. And I believe me, it was the most creative thing in my life. It's like I remember, it's like they sent me like the all the production is like, Paola, you need to test a few clothes. It's like, what? You're going to give me clothes? So it's like, I'm Paola Gonzalez. This is my real last name, but it's like I use Olea for my mom. But it's like, what? And I sent my message to my sister. It's like, Constance, are they going to wear clothes? Maybe they're going to give me a teacher at the end. No, I arrived to Miami and they said me, you need to go to this hotel and you need to test the clothes.
Oh my
And it was
gosh.
3 women there. It's like, hi. And they talked to me and I said, I don't know about clothes. It's like, for me, it's black all day. I don't know. Just what. So for me, that's everything was a movie. It's like,
That's crazy. So you're the first time you're VJing, like the most important part of it was the clothes that you're wearing. It's so funny. That's such an irony.
And there was this big event, and I have a dinner with Richie and the other artist, Ella. Ella for me was the best, nice person ever because I was the VJ for her. So we did the test for the sound and everything was like a big production. And they give me clothes. I have Prada clothes in Chile.
Did you get to keep? Did you get to keep it? Did you get to keep the clothes?
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. And I remember I was nervous, like going to die. Everything was going to be bad because we opened the show. 1 hour show was okay. Was nervous, but I checked everything worked. And then I thought maybe here is famous people. Maybe I need to check. And I checked, nobody's here. The end. Then I know that was famous Hollywood people there. It's like, I didn't say hello. But yeah, for me, it was, I learned that it's like, okay, just relax. Everything is going to be okay. But enjoy that moment.
Yeah.
That 1 hour is like, 1 hour is just
1 hour
done.
is nothing.
It felt like 15 minutes or 10 because I was too focused in what I'm creating, moving, dancing. It's like because I didn't know that I don't know, I was good in that. Or I don't know, was I'm going to feel like a robot because the music is not my stuff. I don't dance. It's like I'm a robot here. But in that moment, it's like I connect with that. So I think for me in that moment was what happened if I can do this visual in real time. So obviously I invest in a better computer. And when I have this opportunity in Mutech, they gave me that and was okay. The organization wasn't very good, but for me was this is not my thing. It's like my thing is I want to do this and see what happened. So I create that setup version 2 to create and see. In real time, yes, it's very cool. I can see that. With the video, I think with a good video, you can create nice things, but it's not the same. It's like with the other, it's like you are creating stuff. And the maybe the good thing or the worst thing is like I tried to, because I was VJing, it's like creating visual. It's like, oh, nice visual. I need to take a picture. I couldn't because at the same time I couldn't replicate it later.
Right.
Just was for that moment and it's gone because it's like too many parameters, a specific music, a specific beat, a specific effect. It's like specific numbers, I can say that. So yeah, I think what is the good thing that you can create unique things, but at the same time, it's like
It's
maybe you
ephemeral.
can do it again. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was for that moment and
Yeah.
never again.
It's so interesting because I never, my being of like a very being really into like generative art and real time stuff. I love that part of that it's never happening again, that it's ephemeral, that it's in the moment, that it's like math, it's like, organic, it's nature, it's all connected, kind of like all the noise patterns are from, nature, all the noise, generative kind of things are all kind of sine waves, cosine waves are all from reality and physics. I love that kind of aspect of it, but you just made me think about the fact that it really is ephemeral. It really is not able to be created again, and there is something special about making something really beautiful that lasts forever, that you can use again and again. Very interesting. I never kind of looked at it in that way, because I guess there is something to both of those things, right? Like there is something to something in the moment, something that's very never going to happen again. It's only now. But there's something as well to like, okay, I want to make something beautiful that is going to be able to be replicated and be used again. It's very interesting. I wonder if there's a way to, like, you can make like a button that like just captures all your parameters, like in a moment, like, so it, like instead of taking a picture, you take a picture of your parameters,
Yeah.
like,
It's a good idea.
like a preset or something, like, so if you're in a show, like, oh, that looks so fucking cool, save all the parameters, and load it in again. Super cool. So another thing I wanted to talk to you about is, and it's hard for me to approach this topic because the obvious thing of like, I'm a guy and you're a girl.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like kind of like I have to think very hard about how to say it, but I've had two women on the podcast before, and I for me personally, I don't really care about the sex of a person. It's not important to me or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's important to me when I'm like, in a romantic situation, but everything else, it doesn't matter. And I have a lot of, especially in America, and I'm assuming that you'll be exposed to this a lot, especially that you moved here and you're in New York. But there's this kind of like idea that being a woman in this industry is difficult, and I'm talking about like the VJing in specific.
Mm-hmm.
That there's not a lot of women VJs, there aren't a lot of women creators in this space, and I always am interested to see what the experience is like for you as a woman, and like what it's been like in your career, because from my perspective, and obviously my perspective is very specific because I'm a guy, but I don't see it like that. Like I said,
Yeah.
like one of the first people that inspired me to do visuals was a woman. One of the first people that taught me TouchDesighner was a woman. So I don't even really think about it that way. But at the same time, I also live in like the world, and like being a woman is more difficult.
Yeah.
That's just the reality of the situation. But yeah, I just really want to know what it's been like for you, in Chile. Also, as you travel the world and kind of get to meet more and more people in this field, what has your experience been like?
Oof, a lot of things. I've had a different moment, weird thing, and yeah. I'm thinking which one. I'm choosing the worst things I'm choosing. But yeah, in Chile I think it's hard than in other. I think in Latin America it's harder than maybe in other places. But yeah, in Chile, because I'm a woman, this is like my salary is different, my pension is different, a lot of stuff like that. And for me, because I work a lot of time for like development team, so it's always men and Paola. Man, all the time.
Interesting.
I remember when we create Brillo Colectivo with my friend, with Javier, he was in charge of the art director. He was the art director, and for me, it was development team. It's like the people in the meetings, like it's always a difference. Always the woman is in the art, and the man is like the engineer. But in this case, was different. So I remember we working in a museum. Um, they have a problem with one of the sensor, and I said, "Why you don't buy this one? It's much better." And he said to me, "Are you sure that you can code that thing? You?" So it's like, "Yeah." So it's like, I don't believe that. He said that. It's like very, and they bought the sensor and everything. And for me, it's like research checking something, and in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, I have the code, and it was okay, done. He was, what? And that moment, I don't know what this happened. When you do something like that, it's like you are God. I don't know why, but in that moment, he said, "Paola is master." It's like she's amazing, but I need to like show him because he doesn't. He didn't believe that. And I remember I was in another time was 29, and I went to for a new job, and this guy, the owner, asked me, it's like, "How old are you?" It's like, why he asked me for my
Yeah,
how,
what's the deal?
and I said 29. I didn't know. Okay, he said okay, and then my friend said me, he asked you because you are in the age to be pregnant and have kids. So for him, it's
What?
like, yeah, that is the reason. Because for you, it's like you're going to be, maybe you're gonna going to be there. It was what? So yeah, and here they ask you something like that because it's like maybe it's like you going to be a problem. You're going to leave because you're going to have a kid, and it's not good for the company. And I remember when I leave, I said that to that boss, and I said, "Okay, you can't do that again because it's bad." He was freeze. But yeah, weird things like that happen. Um, but I think right now I'm here in New York, in Kingston, and right now as a woman, I felt okay. I don't feel like different. What I can feel that maybe yeah, it's not good because I'm a Latina, and I've been having weird things like with that. It's like what, like what this, I don't know, crazy things. Um, but yeah, I think it's difficult. No matter what is the position as a VJ or not, and for example in Chile, there is a lot of VJs. They are women,
There are?
but all the time, yes. But it's hard because I don't know. Yeah, yeah, Chile. I think that is one of the bad thing is if you have a good last name. This is the way how it works in Chile. If you have a good last name,
You'll
Gonzalez
get.
or Leonard, if you have a yeah like a rich last name, you're going to be okay.
It's the Spanish
But
last
if you have
names.
a yeah, but if you go into like a normal, it's like they don't care. And obviously depend at the same time if you are I don't know, a doctor, an architecture, or things like that. It's like you are in the top. The rest is like you are poor. I remember this. Maybe yeah, I remember this. Maybe I hope one of my cousins don't see this. When I remember one of my cousins said, I said, "Okay, bye. I'm going to take a Uber," and he said me, "You can afford that?" It was what? Yeah, things like that because I'm a graphic designer, so I'm very poor. So it's like I'm not rich. Things like that. So yeah, in Chile, it's depend of where you study. Your last name is it's your position in that country.
Interesting.
Um, yeah, so it's like and at the center you are a woman. It's like boop.
Even more.
So
Yeah.
it's even more. Yeah, so it's complicated. A lot of the events there is in Chile, it's like the same people and again and again and again. It's like okay, they're going to invite the same team or the
Same
same
person.
five person and again and
Yeah.
again and again. And for me, it's like, I hate it. I hate that. I hate
So
that.
without
And
being insensitive, but like you're a woman, you managed
mhm.
to make a career. Like you're at a very high point in your career. Like what do you think? What do you think that is? Obviously, you're talented and you're very special in your creative energy and everything. But like, what do you think you managed to do? Like, what is the special thing that you know what I'm saying? Like, and again, I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
insensitive or offensive. It's just like fascinating. Like, it is difficult. It is hard. What was it that you managed to like? How did you get out of that?
Um, no way. It's like you fight. It's like you are. The, I think depends. I'm going to say this.
Mm-hmm.
If you feel, if you're going to thinking, if you depend of the depends. For example, I've been working in many places, and many places like I'm going to fight and going to continue and going to do
Mm-hmm.
it. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you be focused. It's like you're going to do it. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're going to see the team. It's like, no, I'm not going to lose my time in this.
Mm.
Bye. So sometimes you need to know which battle you can win and which battle you're going to
Mm.
lose, no matter what,
That's
because you're
super
going
good.
to know that that boss is like in a good position. No matter
Mm-hmm.
what you say, they don't care.
Right.
It's like, and for me, it's like, I don't. I'm all for this. Bye, and I
Mm.
leave. And I think one of the important thing is when you have a job, it's like you need to pay the rent, you have paid many things, and you are scared. Like if I don't have a job, I don't have money, and
Right.
all this stuff. So for me, I think one of the most important rules is like the fear doesn't take
Don't let the
doesn't
fear
take my
take over you.
decision, yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't control my, because I moved to here to New York, me alone here. I don't have my family, I don't have friend,
Mm-hmm.
anybody, I don't have my dog. I'm here just alone to try to survive. But it's like I want the experience,
Mm-hmm.
I want to learn, improve my English, I want to do another thing. That is the
Mm-hmm.
goal. So for me, that is the key.
Mm.
Have a goal and try to do it, and try to see if my surround is okay. If
Allowing
not,
it.
it's like run, yeah, a run or a run and continue in another place. That is
Mm.
my thing. And another thing is learn a lot.
Mm.
No matter what, learn a lot.
Right. It's kind
And
of what you
try,
said
yeah, and
before
try
is
to,
like, even if it's not, you're not getting making a lot of money or maybe the job's not good, at least you learned something, right? At least you got
yeah,
that knowledge.
yeah. So for me, it's important. I learn a lot. That is the key. And I think it's because I try to, right now I'm older, but it's like why I like that. It's because when I was a kid, I loved to build stuff, Lego, and I think that is the question. Is like I remember. I don't know how to say when you have a double bed. It's like in the
Bunk bed.
top,
A
that
bunk
thing,
bed.
and I slept in that area. It's like I'm very like it's like lazy person, so I create systems to just sort of turn off the light, like put things
That's
like
true.
that. So for me, it's like try to do not too much and just to do it
Mm.
easy. So I
Mm.
think that is one of my things. I'm too lazy, so it's like maybe we can do or we can learn a new way to do it. So
Mm.
that, I think what is that is my key. Maybe that is the reason. It's like when they ask me, oh, it's like what software do you use? Adobe, I don't know, Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere. I can animate. I know Flash. I learn directory, open framework, processing, open. It's like PFI, whatever. It's like no matter what. The main thing is I want to create things. What
Mm-hmm.
I need to do for create that.
Mm-hmm.
If I need to ask, I try to. For me, I try to research. If I don't have the answer, I ask.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, who I can ask, and I ask. That is
Mm.
my thing, and then I continue and again learning new things, because that is the thing. I know of many things, website or whatever. It's like I can animate, no matter the code. It's like I got it. Obviously, I
Mm.
don't have an yeah. I'm not a like level pro for code, but it's like I can understand and I can continue.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me, it's that you need a goal and you need to move forward and try to just do it.
Mm-hmm.
For example, another thing for me is like I don't like to talk too much, but it's like, oh, I have Patreon. Try to speak in English. I'm here. I was a teacher at university for 3 years. I was freaking out at the first time, but for me, it was the best experience. So it's like if you are afraid, that is the thing. If you are afraid, no, 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 no. Try to continue and just do it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've studied here. I went to the school for poetic computation. It's like I did many things because it's like I want to do it. If I do it wrong, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, when I need to talk or express myself or whatever, I can say this. I remember in the SSPC, in the School for Poetic Computation, I say just hello, bye, the end. I use bad, the have, had. Maybe right now I'm using pretty bad, but it's okay. But I remember was in the second week, they said, okay, next week we're going to do the presentation for each of the students. And for me was, what? What was people from MoMA was there? It was a big event.
Wow.
And I need to present myself in 5 minutes. And I remember a lot of my friends, right, reading, practicing everything. And for me, I'm okay. Just and for me, it's like I don't need to practice. Just free. I'm okay. I felt everything okay. And then I was my turn. I stand, and then I forgot everything. I forgot my name, where I come from, everything. There is a video on YouTube there. It's like it's fall 2018. It's called For Poetic Computation. There's me speaking. I don't know what I said. I don't know anything. But I always said to me, if I did that, right now, it's
You can
like,
do anything.
yeah, I can do anything. It's okay. I did. It's okay. Now I'm happy. I can
Amazing.
do it in Spanish. I can do it in English. It's okay. Everything is. I think that everything is gonna be okay. It's not. It's not. I can. I don't know. Stay at my home, do nothing. But for me, it's like I want to learn things. I want to do things, and I need to do it. Just continue, move forward.
I love
If you
it.
fail,
It's
continue.
if you fall, get up. Yeah. You
Yeah.
have this beautiful like confidence that's it's not like an ego confidence, it's a confidence from experience. Like it's gained confidence, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's really nice. Like some people never have that opportunity to see that side of themselves, you
Yeah.
know? And it's really nice that you not only got to see that side of yourself, but you also utilize it. So good. Yeah, the whole being a woman thing is very difficult for me. Not like difficult for me. I don't that was a weird way of saying that, but it bothers me that people feel that way, because like if somebody feels that it's difficult for them in this industry, then it's valid, right? Then they obviously had this experience that was hard for them. But at the same time, like all the experiences that I see are very accepting, and there is this kind of like maybe it's different in different scenes, but to me it always felt like in like generative art, in real-time graphic design, in interactive and immersive, it's very inclusive. There's kind of like this idea of like we're all nerds, we're all geeks, like there's no gender to being a nerd and a geek, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, but then these experiences are real, like the experiences of like expressing, are real. So I don't know, it's just very frustrating that that's the reality, that it's not rosy and inclusive like it seems, or I don't know. Maybe it's just like a overarching thing that it's difficult.
Yeah, but I think with time, it's obviously it's going to change because I remember when I was a kid, I can see that in my mom. It's like difficult. So I think every year is much better.
Yeah,
and I can say
right. Like the more women become part of it, then the more
Yeah, I remember when I went to this university where I teach, and they ask like for, oh, you said this important to have like women here, but how many teachers are
Our women.
like, yeah. And they said, yeah, we know. And I think right now they are, because I teach VR, virtual reality for a student for video games, very nerd, but video games, and they are just three women, just
Mm.
three of us. And I remember the last meeting that we had, like the coordinator said, Paola, and asked to another teacher, please explain a specific type of how you teach or how you handle many things. And then I discovered that all the teachers that explain that or present was just women.
Mm.
And was when I asked why, and the other is like, all the men said there is like, why?
That's
He
what.
said me, because the three of you are the best teacher. You
Mm.
have new techniques, you have new ways. The
Yeah.
other, they are lazy. They say, oh, they're very problems. But it's like
Interesting.
you have techniques. It's like you have confidence. You want to do things. So for me
Mm.
was, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, yeah, you need to think that when I teach virtual reality, I need to have no knowledge about code, how implement. So when you have a student for they are almost the, yeah, 4 years student, yeah, they think that she doesn't know anything, but I asked, I said, if you have any question, just ask me, I know.
Mm.
And they ask me, it's like, oh, you know, and we can have this nerd thing. So you need to think they are a class for 90% men. They are like, there it's like, okay, you have the respect, and
Mm.
you have like, and for me, when I teach, it's like, it's different way to, it's like, I don't want to be a teacher because
Mm-hmm.
I have I have a problem. I can say that I have a problem for the, when you have a boss or I have a teacher and they are very
Mm.
bad. It's like, no, you're doing very bad. But for me, it's like, for me, a teacher is very important because
Mm.
it's it's the person going to explain you many things. It's like
Mm-hmm.
explain you the path, explain you the way.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like, I'm not a teacher, I'm a colleague. It's like, we're
Mm.
going to do this together.
Together. Yeah.
Yeah, and for me, it's important to know the person because every person is different.
Yeah.
You have more abilities, you have maybe different ways to socialize, so it's different. So for me, it's like, I need to know this person, how we can move together. But at the same time, for me, it's important to, maybe, because sometimes they work in teams, and you have the leader team, and talk with this leader, or said, you need to learn how to manage people, because
Mm.
every person is different.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you have a quiet person, and it's okay, but you need to know the way how communicate. Maybe
Mm.
they use a software, it's easy for them to communicate in a chat. Do it. Not everyone is not the same. And because for me this is important, because when I was a child, I didn't, it's like, I discovered this later, but I'm in the spectrum, it's like autistic. And for me, I didn't connect with people. It's like, I don't got it. It's like, what is we, this? And for me, all the time, the people said she's weird, but I wasn't, because for me, it's different how to um, understand the world.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, that is important to explain to the students. Like,
Mm.
everyone is different.
That's
You need to
okay.
respect that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Everyone work in a different way, because at the same time, when I work with teams, they are very bad. It's like, because I'm a woman, it's like, oh, she didn't get it. It's like, you are, I don't know, whatever. But for me, it's like, no, you need to be a leader.
Mm.
You need to work together. If this is not the way, we need to find a way.
Mm.
It's like, and we continue, because yeah, you are a team. Everyone is important.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think for me, it's important to that, to just say that and see what happened. And the cool thing, right now, a lot of my students, they are my friends, because I think they
Nice.
discover, it's like, she is not a teacher, she's like
She's
someone
like,
who
yeah.
comes like, we're going to do this, and it's video games, so it's different. So yeah, I think for me, because It's how I can transmit or change the way how people react or do things with woman or with the art or whatever. It's like we are human, and I try to teach that, or the way how I teach my tutorials is different. It's like we're going to experiment in this way. We're
Mm.
going to do, I don't know, whatever. But I think I don't know. I need to transmit that in a way and see
Mm.
what happened, because
Yeah.
it's yeah, it's complicated.
Well, I think you're doing really good work in this, and I think that it's also like, the more young people, women, men, whatever, see like leading by example, like you're an example of this confident, successful person. People can see that and then be like, okay, well, maybe I can be like this as well. Maybe if I do, maybe if I learn this, then I can do like this. And maybe if I learn like this, I can do like this. And it gives like, it empowers people, So I think that's probably the first step, is just having more, women in positions of like yourself, of like
Hmm.
success and confidence, that maybe, younger girls can see this and have a good example.
Yeah.
Um, so another thing that I really loved about your on your website, in your about page, there was this really nice line of creating peace in the form of visuals,
Yeah.
and it really spoke to me, because I just like, I'm a spiritual person. Like, I really believe in something, I don't know what, and obviously it's a whole other topic, but in the essence of it, whenever I go and perform, or to do visuals, or even in my more corporate kind of life, when I'm doing jobs, I try to create some sort of intention of peace and healing, and
Hmm.
making the world better. I think that there's a little bit of a responsibility of artists to do that. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the form of activism or anything like that, or creating I don't know, cures for things. But I think that just in the little sense, what's the point of art? What's the point of making things? If not to make the world better. So where does that meet you? And kind of like, what is your practice for this? Like, how do you create peace in the form of visuals?
Yeah. So, um, oh, give me a second. For me, I think when I create a visual, because I've been thinking this a lot. It's like,
Mm.
what is the meaning of my art, or what I do art? It's like many
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
But for me, the visual is a way how I communicate to the world. In a way, because for me, it's have been hard to communicate, because
Mm-hmm.
people, autistic, weird things. But
Mm-hmm.
it's like, what is this? How I can connect? Because I couldn't connect for me. It's like, what is emotion kind of stuff? But for me, this is the way how I communicate. And when the people see, it's like, sometimes people said me, it's like, oh, your visual is like, I don't know, like a sun, or this is like, I don't know, a flower or whatever. For me, it's like, whatever you want to feel, whatever you want to see, is that is it. Um, so for me, it's like the visual is how I feel in that moment. So you can see a bright color. It's like I was very happy. If I am
Mm.
gray or black, things like I feel, I don't know, okay. But it's like dependent. I think it's how I express emotions. But at the same time, I don't like to create like crazy visuals, like too noisy things. It's because I think the world is very hard, so it's
Mm.
like life is hard to live. So it's like, for me, maybe a piece that is just calm or relaxed in a way, or
Mm.
a thing that you want to see helps. It's okay. Um, So yeah, for me, all the time is try to put a little bit of peace, but at the same time, try to like see the details. So I think if you're going to see at the beginning from my visual, it's like, I don't know, it's like a main thing. Right now, I want to put more details, like the grain, the focus in that. Like when you go to see, I don't know, a flowers, because my mom live in a farm and she love a lot of plants and things like that. And I think, I don't know, that is in my thing, but it's like, I don't know, just sit in the farm and just breathe and feel the wind, be with my dogs, just that, and happy. That is maybe the reason that I like do organic things and I want to apply it more and see, I don't know, like that, because life is like moving too fast. Right now, I think every year when I was younger, for me, a year is like take too many time. Right now I'm older. It's like a year. It's like what?
2 seconds. Yeah.
It's too fast. So it's
It's so
like
crazy.
running. Yeah, and for me it's like that. It's try to put something just give you peace or relax or maybe just feel like beautiful. So for me it's important the colors. So yes, try to put something that make you feel a little bit in peace or relax in a way, because the life is chaos, it's hard, you work every day. And when I start my own company, Brillo Colectivo, and I discovered that I can walk in the street, I don't know, 3 p.m. And it's like, 3 p.m. I can go to the cinema. And I thinking my friends, they are at work and they leave 6, 7 p.m. from home. It's like, sorry, from work. It's like, then they need to go to home. It's like 8 or 9 p.m. and then to need to sleep and do it and again and again and again. It's like, what is that type of life? I know that I return to that type of life. I work between 9 and 5, but my focus is different. It's going to another way. Maybe, I don't know, I'm going to stay here 1 year or two. I don't know. But the thing is, for me, it's like life is hard. Everything is a cycle. And then when you are older, you feel like everything is going to go fast. I need to put something there that give you something else. I don't know, give you more than just war or TV or whatever. It's like something else. So yeah.
Interesting. Do you feel like the like the work that you do is an extension of you, and therefore making it somehow like yeah, as you get older there's this feeling of like what is the point of things, right? When you're younger it's much more it's exciting, and
Yeah.
things are new, and you kind of like exploring. But then there's like this kind of idea of like, how am I making the world better? How am I making something, a positive change in the world? And when you teach, obviously, it's very easy to feel that because you get that direct feedback
Yeah.
of like teaching. But I think sometimes when you create art, it's difficult to see it. And that's why I always feel like when I create, I try to have this intention. I try to bring in iconography or shapes or patterns that to me are spiritual or have some sort of, idea in them. And it can even be something in like color science of just like this color makes you feel this way. And this, like you said, like this peaceful pattern or flowers, nature. That's why I love generative art, because you're bringing in the powers of nature. You're bringing in the powers of reality, of, physics and organisms, whether it's, reaction to fusion, or whether it's some sort of noise pattern that's, math brought down to reality brought down to math. I think that's very strong. I really enjoyed meeting you, Pao. This was really, really a nice conversation. You're such a fascinating person and super inspiring. I feel like I just feel great from listening to you and conversing with you. So I really, really appreciate it. Anything you want to say or promote or leave us with?
Yeah. For me, it's like just follow inspiration. Check Zach Lieberman, Daniel Shiffman. You're going to check a lot of artists from TouchDesighner, Billy and Daniel, Simulate. I don't remember all the names. But at the same time, just check another artist. It's like different, like, I don't know, illustrators, movies, things like that, because the visual thing is a lot of stuff. So when you discover, like in movies, you have the cameras, lens, many things that you can put that into your visual. If you go to, I don't know, music, you have different type of music, you can put that thing. So it's like research, check, inspired, and many things, and try to, you first don't take your decision, and just, if you want to learn something, just do it. And if you don't know, just ask. Do that. And thank you for having me. Yes, I'm having a good time here talking.
Hell yeah. Wow, what an awesome episode. Thank you so much, Pao, for coming on, being vulnerable, authentic, showing us into your workflows. You are such an awesome person, and I'm so happy to have got to know you. Big thank you to Manda Smash for the intro and outro music. And next week, we have on a tool. See you next week.